Chapter 3989. Abyssal Demons. Many people's eyes were solemn. Abyssal demons were a term that many people had heard growing up. It was synonymous with terror. The test this time was to enter the dark universe and interact with the abyssal demons. Many people couldn't help but feel nervous. But some people revealed a strong fighting spirit and curiosity. In the primitive universe, there were some races that were said to have the bloodline of the demons. But these races' bloodlines weren't pure at all. They were already considered creatures of the primitive universe. The abyssal demons of the dark universe are great enemies of the heavenly palace. They have been at war with the heavenly palace for many years. Your next test is to enter the dark universe and kill the abyssal demons there to obtain merit points from the heavenly palace. Only when you have a certain number of merit points will you pass the test. Here I will explain the use of merit points. In the heavenly palace, merit points are the most important thing. With merit points you have everything. The white-haired heavenly official explained as the crowd listened quietly. Let me tell you. When you first become a heavenly soldier, the heavenly palace will bestow upon you an opportunity that will allow everyone to reap great benefits. Some people will break through their cultivation, some will awaken their origin divine force, some will sever the shackles of their origin secret arts, and so on. The heavenly official continued. Many people's eyes shone with a fiery light. Many of them had heard of this point before. When one first became a heavenly soldier, the heavenly palace would bestow upon them an opportunity that was extremely important. Moreover, when one first becomes a heavenly soldier, the amount of opportunity one receives is also related to merit points. This is because heavenly soldiers are also divided into ranks. Generally they are divided into 3 ranks. Third-rank heavenly soldiers are the lowest, followed by second-rank heavenly soldiers, then first-rank heavenly soldiers. The ranks of heavenly soldiers are completely based on merit points. When you first become a heavenly soldier, almost all of you are third-rank heavenly soldiers. But if you obtain more merit points during the test, you might become a second-rank heavenly soldier. Then, the reward for becoming a heavenly soldier will be even more amazing. The white-haired heavenly official's words made many people even more excited. In addition, merit points are almost omnipotent in the heavenly palace. You can exchange them for any treasure in the heavenly palace, such as all kinds of magical weapons and armors, all kinds of secret skills, and even the 3,000 ancient secret skills. The white-haired heavenly official continued. Lu Ming was shocked. All kinds of secret techniques and the 3,000 ancient secret techniques were extremely attractive to Lu Ming. It's not just treasures. As long as you have enough merit points, you can even ask the experts of the heavenly palace, or even the Lord of Heaven, to guide you in your cultivation. If you have enemies, you can use your merit points to ask the masters of the heavenly palace to help you deal with them. You can also use your merit points to increase the strength of your forces. The white-haired heavenly official's explanation caused everyone's eyes to burn with passion. Merit points were truly omnipotent. As long as you had enough merit points, you could do anything in the heavenly palace and obtain any treasure. As long as the heavenly palace had it, the heavenly palace would be able to do it. Of course, you needed enough merit points. So, go and earn merit points to your heart's content. Now, come with me to the dark universe. The white-haired heavenly official announced. Following this, the heavenly officials led them out of Dream Sky City and toward a mysterious part of the starry sky. This part of the starry sky did not belong to any race. It was the starry sky guarded by the heavenly palace and directly belonged to the heavenly palace. The crowd followed the heavenly officials and flew for several days before finally arriving at their destination. Seeing the situation in front of them, everyone was tongue-tied and their eyes widened in shock. There was a vast abyss in the starry sky. Yes, an abyss that seemed to have split open the starry sky. The abyss was pitch black and unfathomable. More importantly, it was so large that many stars were like specks of dust compared to it. In fact, there were many stars floating around the abyss. There were hundreds of stars, forming a heavenly cycle stellar array. Countless heavenly soldiers were stationed on these stars. This is the entrance to the dark universe. My Dream Sky Heavenly Palace has stationed countless heavenly soldiers here to prevent the demons from rushing out. In fact, the 5 heavenly palace each guard such an abyss that leads to the dark universe. The white-haired heavenly official said. As they spoke, they flew forward. When they approached, a group of heavenly soldiers flew over. These heavenly soldiers were wearing white armor with all kinds of runes engraved on it. This is the standard armor of the heavenly soldiers. It is said that the lowest level can withstand the full-strength attack of a 9th-layer divine emperor. Ling Yue transmitted her voice to Lu Ming. The heavenly palace is really rich. Lu Ming sighed. Even the lowest level could withstand the full-strength attack of a ninth-layer divine emperor. With so many heavenly soldiers, each of them would be equipped with boundless power. The heavenly official stepped forward and negotiated with the heavenly soldiers. Then the heavenly soldiers led them toward the abyss. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Powerful gusts of wind blew out of the abyss. The group used their divine power to resist and flew into the abyss. There was a powerful suction force in the abyss that drew them down. Deep, it was simply too deep. They fell for an entire day before finally reaching the end. Below them was a vast expanse of land. On this land was an incomparably majestic city. The entire city was pitch black and made of an incomparably tough metal. Countless runes appeared on its surface, forming a great array. Countless experts of the heavenly palace were stationed within the city, as well as the heavenly soldiers. Outside the city was a vast expanse of land that stretched as far as the eye could see. The entire city happened to be right in front of the abyss. They landed on a large plaza in the city. This city belongs to the heavenly palace. Outside the city is the world of the fiends. The dark universe is very strange. It's like a boundless continent. I don't know how big it is. The cultivators of the heavenly palace once explored it, but they couldn't find the end. Countless demons live on this continent. The heavenly official explained. Lord Sky Official, how do we earn merit points? Do we just kill the demons? Or do we have to bring back some sort of token? Someone asked. Each fiend has a drop of fiend spirit blood. Kill fiends, collect their spirit blood, and bring it back to the heavenly palace. Naturally, there are ways to calculate merit points. Generally speaking, the stronger a fiend is, the more merit points they obtain, but that's not always the case. It also depends on one's potential. Killing a fiend with great potential or killing a fiend prodigy will give you more merit points. All of this will have to be calculated in the well of merit back in the heavenly palace. The white-haired heavenly official explained. The group nodded, having a general idea. Chapter 3990. This city is called Nantion City because the illusory heavenly palace guards the south of the universe. If you want to go out, you have to go through a special exit. Also, when you go out, you have to go in batches. If you send too many people at once, it will be easy to alarm the demon army. A heavenly soldier in white armor said. That's right. Moreover, outside Nantion City, the territory is extremely vast. These territories are divided into different levels according to the degree of danger. The first level is the safest, and the higher the level, the more dangerous it is. It's best for Divine Emperor Realm people to move around in the second level. Those below the Divine Emperor Realm go to the first level, and those above the Divine Emperor Realm go to the third level. Of course, some top monsters are excluded. You guys choose your area first, and then I'll split you into batches. You guys will go. Immediately, Lu Ming and the others chose different levels of areas. Lu Ming naturally chose the second level area. After everyone had made their choice, the Sky Official divided them into batches and led them out by the heavenly soldiers. Ling Yue and Dandan were all separated by the Sky Official and were not in the same batch. Follow me. A heavenly soldier said to a group of people. Then, the heavenly soldier led the group of people who were participating in the assessment and left. After about half a day, another group of heavenly soldiers led a group of people away. 2 days later, it was Lu Ming's group's turn. There were about 500 of them. They were led by a team of heavenly soldiers toward the city gate. Open the formation. When Lu Ming and the others arrived at the city gate, someone immediately shouted. Then, a corner of the array formation covering the city gate opened, and they flew out from this corner of the array formation. Outside the city wall was a boundless continent. At a glance, there was no end in sight. It was vast and boundless. Moreover, the world was no longer filled with dense divine energy, but with all kinds of demonic energy. There was very little divine energy and it was extremely faint. If they consumed too much divine energy, it would be very difficult for them to absorb divine energy from the world to replenish it. They had to absorb it from divine crystals or other treasures. Therefore, they had to prepare enough divine crystals to come here. The second level area I will take you to is called the 8 Snake Mountain Range. It is formed by 8 huge snake-shaped mountain ranges. It is vast and boundless, and there are many powerful demons residing there. However, the highest cultivation of the demons inside will not exceed the Divine Emperor Realm. A heavenly soldier explained. Soon, they flew across the boundless land, and a majestic mountain range appeared before their eyes. The dark universe was different from the primitive universe. The dark universe was like a boundless continent. It was really too big. Just the 8 Snake Mountain Range alone was comparable to the total area of a dozen ordinary life planets. When they arrived, the heavenly soldiers brought them to the ground and retracted their auras. We're already close to the 8-Snake Mountain range. If we get any closer, we'll be easily discovered by the demons inside. A heavenly soldier said and waved his hand. Go. Some people had already hurriedly flown out and rushed towards the 8-Snakes Mountain range. As soon as someone made a move, the others followed suit. One figure after another dashed out. Lu Ming also followed the crowd and flew towards a corner of the 8-Snake Mountain range. Looking from afar, the 8-Snakes Mountain range looked like it was formed by 8 gigantic snakes. It was simply too huge. 500 of them might seem like a lot, but when they got close to the 8-Snakes Mountain range, they were completely scattered. Lu Ming rushed into a dense forest. In the forest, ancient trees towered into the sky. However, these trees were filled with dense demonic chi. They were covered with sharp thorns and looked very ferocious. According to the heavenly soldiers, the demons are also in groups. They can form tribes or even kingdoms and set up formations. They are no different from the living beings in the primitive universe. They are extremely intelligent. I can't be too careless, Lu Ming thought. His body was like a gust of wind, flashing constantly. However, Lu Ming had not encountered any demons after running for half an hour in the forest. Just as Lu Ming was puzzled, a strong force suddenly attacked Lu Ming from both sides. Demonic chi. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he quickly retreated. However, the ground behind him suddenly exploded. A sharp force went straight for Lu Ming's back. Lu Ming did not hesitate. He used his palm like a knife and slashed backward. With a boom, the force was directly destroyed by Lu Ming. Moreover, his palm did not stop and continued to slash forward. With a puff, a tall and burly figure was split into two. Demon? There was a flash in Lu Ming's eyes. He finally saw the other party's appearance clearly. It was a 3-meter-tall creature with a green body and a pair of green demon wings on its back. It had a mouth full of fangs and a ferocious expression. It was exactly the same as the legendary demon. In the primitive universe, some living beings had the bloodline of demons. There were even some cultivation techniques that could condense the image of demons. It was almost the same as this one. A living being from the primitive universe. Kill him and eat him. Roars and howls could be heard. There were at least a dozen demons on his left, right, front, and back. They roared and charged toward Lu Ming. What surprised Lu Ming was that their language was the same as the language of the primitive universe. These demons all looked the same. They had green skin, extended fangs, and a pair of demon wings on their backs. They kept roaring and charging toward Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming could see that the highest cultivation level of those demons was only the 4th godly emperor layer. Die! Shouted Lu Ming. He instantly used his battle formula to increase his fighting strength by 5 times. At the same time, a demon sword condensed in his hand. That was the Great Demon Sword technique. Lu Ming's Great Demon Sword technique was not yet a beginner. He could use these demons to practice it. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The demon sword moved freely and sword gleams burst forth. One by one, the demons were killed by Lu Ming, dying on the spot. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen demons were slaughtered by Lu Ming. Following which, Lu Ming's palm and long claws clawed at a demon's heart. A powerful suction force erupted. The next moment, a drop of blood that exuded a strong demonic aura flew out. That was the demon's spirit blood. It was also the place to exchange for points in the heavenly palace. Lu Ming took out a jade bottle and collected the demon's spirit blood. Then he used forbidden strength. The forbidden area was like a silk thread that entered the demon's heart. A moment later, the demon's spirit blood flew out and Lu Ming collected it in the jade bottle. There were 13 drops of demon's spirit blood in total, from the 1st godly emperor layer to the 4th godly emperor layer. Lu Ming didn't know how many points he could exchange for. He had to go to the Well of Merit in the Heavenly Palace to exchange for points. There are so many demons here. It means that there is a demon tribe nearby. I wonder how strong the demon tribe is. Thought Lu Ming, but he wasn't afraid. Now that Lu Ming had used the Bingshen cudgel with all his might, his combat power was comparable to a 9th-level divine emperor. Of course, the Bingshen cudgel would be exhausted after a few moves. However, it could buy Lu Ming time to escape. Therefore, even if Lu Ming encountered cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer, he could escape. Lu Ming could kill cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. Chapter 3991. There weren't any great supreme gods in the 8 Snakes Mountain range, so Lu Ming wasn't worried. Of course, if he met a terrifying genius, he couldn't judge them by their cultivation level. Lu Ming wondered if he should find the evil demon tribe and get rid of them. Let's look for them first. Lu Ming made up his mind. His silhouette flickered as he moved towards the depths of the mountain range. The Eight Snakes mountain range was too big. A person who entered it was like a speck of dust falling into the sea. After that, Lu Ming searched for half an hour, but he didn't see any evil demons. However, Lu Ming's path was blocked by a few other people. A few young men in white clothes. They were from the Angel clan. "Muyun, we finally met you. You're really good at running," said one of the young men from the Angel clan coldly. He had a nose like an eagle's. "You've been following me?" There was a cold gleam in Lu Ming's eyes. "Correct. Since we entered the Eight Snakes mountain range, we've been trying to get closer to you. We met a group of evil demons on the way, but luckily we met you." "You're not very lucky," said the young man from the Angel clan. "Oh, so what do you want?" asked Lu Ming. "What do we want? Hee, you're not qualified to challenge Prince Gabbert. Of course we'll help Prince Gabbert get rid of you. After we get rid of you, I'm sure Prince Gabbert will look at us in a new light," said the young men from the Angel clan, smiling coldly. The holy light around their bodies became denser and denser. A powerful chi kept moving towards Lu Ming. Behind them, pairs of angel wings stretched out. An 8-winged angel. 3 6-winged angels. As soon as the angelic wings appeared, a vast amount of holy light flooded the area. "Little boy, die," said one of the 6-winged angels. He was holding an angel's sword and charged towards Lu Ming. His pure white sword light swept across the area and turned the trees into dust. That 6-winged angel had the strength of the 3rd godly emperor layer. "You're just a 6-winged angel of the 3rd godly emperor layer. You overestimate yourself." Lu Ming laughed lightly and punched out. The berserk fist energy directly destroyed his opponent's sword light, causing terror to appear in his opponent's eyes. He felt that the power of Lu Ming's punch was too strong. A 6-winged angel of the Angel clan could be regarded as a very powerful genius in the primitive universe. Even in the Divine Emperor realm, he could fight against a 6-winged angel who was 1 level higher. Cultivators of the 3rd godly emperor layer could fight cultivators of the 4th godly emperor layer. Lu Ming only had the strength of the 1st godly emperor layer. Initially he thought he could easily defeat Lu Ming, but now he realized he had been wrong and now he was going to die. With a loud boom, the 6-winged angel's body exploded, sending feathers flying everywhere. The remaining 3 angels were dumbfounded. "Brat, how dare you kill a prodigy of the angel race? You're courting death." "You are courting death," shouted the 3 remaining angels furiously. They took out their angel swords and charged towards Lu Ming. 2 of them had the strength of the 4th godly emperor layer, and 1 had the strength of the 3rd godly emperor layer. The one with the aquiline nose was an 8-winged angel. He had the strength of the 4th godly emperor layer. An 8-winged angel of the godly emperor layer could fight against a 6-winged angel who was 2 levels higher than him. It had to be said that the angels were terrifyingly talented. They were much more talented than the other races. Ordinary 2-winged angels and 4-winged angels couldn't fight against a 6-winged angel of the godly emperor layer, but at the same level they were almost invincible. 6-winged angels of the godly emperor layer could fight against a 6-winged angel of the godly emperor layer. It should be known that there were quite a few 6-winged angels among the angels. An 8-winged angel of the 4th godly emperor layer was as strong as an ordinary cultivator of the 6th godly emperor layer. That kind of fighting strength could easily kill a cultivator of the 1st godly emperor layer. Of course that was what they thought. "So what if you're an angel?" "Kill," Lu Ming said coldly. The battle incantation had been successfully triggered to increase his combat power by 6 times. The Great Divine Wind Technique and the Great Shattering Technique were cast. They converged into an unparalleled force that crushed toward the 3 young angels. 2 miserable screams rang out. 2 of the angels simply couldn't resist Lu Ming's attack. They were directly blown apart, dying on the spot. The hawk-nosed young man of the Angel clan was shaken. He coughed up blood and retreated. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. How is this possible? Other than shock, there was only horror in his eyes. He was deeply shocked by Lu Ming's battle prowess. This was because he realized that Lu Ming did not use any powerful weapons, nor did he rely on any external forces. He was completely relying on his own combat strength. A cultivator of the 1st godly emperor layer had managed to injure him in 1 strike. He had the strength of the 6th godly emperor layer. That kind of fighting strength was incredible. Even Gabbert couldn't compete with Lu Ming at the same level. No, he had to report this to Gabbert. Therefore, without hesitation, he turned around and ran away, his 8 wings flapping furiously. "Do you think you can escape?" said Lu Ming coldly. His silhouette flickered like a ghost, and in a flash he caught up with the hawk-nosed young man from the Angel clan. A terrifying strength bombarded the young man from the Angel clan. You want to kill me? No way. Angel feather, shouted the hawk-nosed young man furiously. He opened his mouth and spat out a feather. This feather was an angel's feather. It was shed by a powerful angel, and could be considered a powerful treasure. However, it wasn't a powerful weapon. There were countless treasures in the Angel clan, but not all of them could use them. In fact, there were very few who could use them. That feather could make the young man from the Angel clan explosively stronger, but there was a limit. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming's fist collided with the feather a dozen times. In the end, the feather couldn't block Lu Ming's attack and was blown away. Then, the 4 gravity pearls in Lu Ming's hands flew out and pressed down on the hook-nosed young man. The hook-nosed young man screamed miserably and his body fell to the ground like a meteorite. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and rushed over. His palm was like a knife, cleaving the hook-nosed young man into 2. The 4 young men from the Angel clan had wanted to kill Lu Ming, but in the end, Lu Ming had killed them all. Lu Ming took the 4 young men's rings and scanned them with his spiritual awareness. Then he took out a few jade bottles filled with demon blood. There were a dozen drops. Lu Ming didn't hesitate to take them. As for the other weapons, he gave them to Chiu Chiu. Just as Lu Ming was about to leave, all of a sudden, there were terrifying whistling sounds coming from all directions. Lu Ming had goosebumps all over his skin. Gravity Pearl. Lu Ming controlled the gravity pearl with all his strength and set up a powerful gravity field within 100 miles. 6. Chapter 3992. Lu Ming used the gravity pearl to shroud the area within a radius of 100 miles under the powerful gravity. In the next moment, a few spears broke through the range of the gravity shroud. Slash, slash. After the long spear broke through the area shrouded by gravity, there was a violent sound of friction. Sparks flew and its speed slowed down a little. However, it was not pressed to the ground. Instead, it continued to stab toward Lu Ming. Their speed was astonishing. In the blink of an eye, they crossed 100 li. Lu Ming clenched his fists and punched continuously, colliding with a few long spears. Rumbling sounds spread in the air. Lu Ming's body shook and he was pushed back. The spears exploded and turned into pieces. What a terrifying strength. Lu Ming was stupefied. The spears had come from 10,000 li away, but they had still managed to push Lu Ming back after using 4 gravity pearls. One could imagine how strong they were. Ordinary cultivators of the 6th godly emperor layer couldn't do that. That was equivalent to the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer. In the distance, the sound of breaking wind spread in the air. Then a large number of silhouettes flew over. Demons, a large number of demons. One by one, the demons spread their demonic wings and charged toward Lu Ming with a strong demonic aura. They're from the ancient desolate universe. Kill him. The evil demons roared like thunder. It seems like the battle a moment ago has alarmed these demons. Could it be that they're from a nearby tribe? Lu Ming smiled indifferently. He didn't panic at all. He could already sense that the strongest demon had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer. There were 4 cultivators of the 7th godly emperor layer. The others were all below the 7th godly emperor layer. There were about 200 of them. He had decided to kill all of them. Those were all merit points. With enough merit points he could turn them into all kinds of treasures, all kinds of secret techniques, and even the 3,000 ancient secret techniques. Therefore in Lu Ming's eyes, those demons turned into all kinds of treasures. The demons came very quickly. In the blink of an eye they arrived near Lu Ming. The 4 demons who had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer were the fastest. They smiled cruelly and attacked Lu Ming with their claws. I'll send you on your way. A round bead appeared in Lu Ming's hand. It was the gale bead. Ooh! A violent gale swept out from the zephyr bead. The 4 powerful evil demons were the first to be swept into the gale. 4 demons of the 7th godly emperor layer gave horrible shrieks as they were cut into pieces by the strong wind. The remaining demons were scared out of their wits, and their bodies that were originally charging forward could not help but stop. From their point of view, the 4 powerful leaders had died in an instant. It was too terrifying. Let's go, let's go. Retreat. The other demons roared, wanting to retreat and escape. Demons also know fear, but it's too late for you to retreat now. Lu Ming continued controlling the zephyr bead. A strong wind whistled as it swept out. In a few breaths, more than 200 demons were swept away by the strong wind, and then Lu Ming killed them. Lu Ming didn't show any mercy. Demons of the deep abyss were evil and cruel. Killing them was like getting rid of evil. However, Lu Ming controlled himself very well. He only killed the demons, but he didn't destroy their hearts because Lu Ming needed their blood. After a short time, the 200 demons were all killed by the strong wind. Afterward, Lu Ming manipulated the forbidden power to draw out the demon spirit blood of all the demons. In the dark universe, there are countless demons, and the heavenly palace is guarding the entrances of the deep abyss. Could it be that they're doing it for the sake of the common people? It seems like the heavenly palace isn't that bad after all, whispered Lu Ming. In fact, Lu Ming had this question since he entered the dark universe. From the look of it, the heavenly palaces were guarding the entrance to the dark universe, fighting the fiend devils and protecting the Your Wilds universe. They were completely on the side of justice. But why were there so many forces against them, such as the dragon race, the Tang family of Xian Yanqing's previous life, and Flying Phoenix? Boy, if you think the heavenly palace is guarding the entrances of the dark universe for the sake of the living beings of the universe, then you're wrong. The heavenly palace is doing it for themselves. Bone Demon's voice was full of disdain. Bone Demon, what do you know? Tell me about it, asked Lu Ming quickly. It's too early to tell you now. Besides, I don't know much. I've only heard some rumors. If you want to know the details, you'll have to ask those forbidden existences such as Flying Phoenix of the dragon race's mother planet Ao Qian, and that Tang guy, said Bone Demon. It's a secret again. Lu Ming was speechless, but since Bone Demon didn't want to tell him, he didn't bother to ask. This should be a member of the evil demon tribe. A evil demon tribe shouldn't have this many people. I should have left one alive to find out more about the situation. Lu Ming was annoyed. After keeping the evil demon spirit blood, he left in a flash. Lu Ming searched the vicinity. Not long after, he really found a demon tribe. It was a city built with huge stones. It looked very simple and couldn't be compared to the buildings in the chaotic universe. From afar, he could see many evil demons flying around in the city. There were also some evil demons patrolling outside the city. Lu Ming secretly caught a few evil demons and interrogated them. These evil demons were also living beings and were afraid of death. After being interrogated by Lu Ming, they told him the truth. Not only did they tell him about the tribe, but they also told him about the 8 Snake Mountain Range. In the 8 Snake Mountain Range, there were a total of 1325 ordinary tribes and 108 large-scale tribes. But all the tribes were ruled by a kingdom of evil demons. That kingdom was called the 8 Snake Evil Demon Kingdom. Its capital was at the center of the 8 Snake Mountain Range. There were many strong cultivators, and many of them had the strength of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. The strongest evil demon tribe in front of Lin Yun had the strength of the 8th Godly Emperor layer. It was an ordinary tribe. I wouldn't have thought that the 8 Snake Mountain Range would have so many strong evil demons. And it's only a level 2 area. I wonder how many terrifying evil demons there are in the dark universe, thought Lu Ming. Obviously, Lu Ming could not afford to offend the demon empire of the 8 snakes. There were many powerful 9th-level divine emperors in the empire. Given Lu Ming's current combat capability, he would definitely die if he were to face 2 9th-level divine emperors at the same time. However, Lu Ming was able to deal with these ordinary and large tribes. After understanding the strength of the evil demon tribe, Lu Ming went straight in. Very quickly, the ordinary tribe was destroyed. Chapter 3993. After keeping all the evil demon spirit blood, Lu Ming left this place and headed towards the depths of 8 Snake Mountain Range. 8 Snake Mountain Range was formed by the intersection of 8 huge snake-shaped mountain ranges. At the center, where the 8 snakes converged, it was the largest and also the most central place. The surroundings were the ends of 8 Snake Mountain Range. Lu Ming and the rest had entered from these ends. Lu Ming was now at the end of a mountain range. The deeper he went, the more evil demon tribes there were. Time flew, and more than 10 days had passed in the blink of an eye. In these 10 days, Lu Ming had been hunting evil demons. With the great killing weapon in his hand, Lu Ming had been successful in every endeavor. Evil demons died in his hands one after another, and the amount of evil demon spirit blood in Lu Ming's hands was increasing. However, while they were hunting evil demons, the evil demons were also hunting them. Along the way, Lu Ming also saw people who came to participate in the assessment being torn apart by the evil demons and becoming their food. On this day, when Lu Ming was moving forward, he suddenly encountered a person who was fleeing rapidly. It's her. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This person was Hua Shui of the elf race. However, the current Hua Shui was in a very sorry state. Her body was covered in wounds and she had suffered serious injuries. Swoosh. Behind Hua Shui, 2 figures were chasing after her rapidly. Angel race. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. Little girl from the elf race, you can't run away. Surrender obediently and serve us well. We can give you a quick death. One of the young men from the angel race sneered. His speed was very fast. With 8 wings on his back, he chased after Hua Shui like a stream of light. "You angel race are despicable," Hua Shui gritted her teeth and flew with all her might. However, her serious injuries had seriously affected her speed. The 2 young men from the angel race were constantly closing the distance between them. Lu Ming directly flew towards Hua Shui. As soon as Lu Ming flew over, Hua Shui discovered Lu Ming. "Mu Yun," surprise flashed in Hua Shui's eyes. He knew how powerful Lu Ming was. He knew that Lu Ming had a great weapon of mass destruction in his hands. If he met Lu Ming, he might be saved. "It's Mu Yun." "Very good. I was just about to look for him, and he came to me on his own accord. Let's get rid of him together." The 2 angels were overjoyed as well. They rushed towards Lu Ming. Their powerful auras locked onto Lu Ming. Hua Shui landed beside Lu Ming, gasping for breath. "Are you okay?" Lu Ming said calmly. Those 2 young geniuses had the strength of the 4th godly emperor layer, and they were 8-winged angels. They had the strength of the 6th godly emperor layer. Lu Ming didn't care about them. "I'm fine, but the princess is trapped by them," Hua Shui said. "Ling Yue." Lu Ming's eyes flashed. "Die brat." One of the young angels charged towards Lu Ming. His angelic sword slashed towards Lu Ming's head. Boom. Lu Ming threw a punch and collided with the angelic sword. Multicolored light filled the sky, and the young angel quickly retreated. Bus, bus, bus. For gravity pearls vibrated and flew out. The powerful gravity enveloped the 2 young angels. After that, Lu Ming attacked with all his strength. Boom, boom. There were continuous explosions and roars, and then there were 2 screams. Calm was restored, but there were 2 more corpses on the ground. The 2 8-winged angels had been killed by Lu Ming. Their interspatial rings also fell into Lu Ming's hands. On the side, Hua Shui was dumbfounded. She knew that Lu Ming was very strong. If he used his ultimate weapon, he would definitely be able to kill the 2 of them. However, Lu Ming hadn't used his ultimate weapon just now. Without using his ultimate weapon, he had killed 2 young geniuses of the angel clan. Hua Shui's heart twitched a few times. "Where's Ling Yue? Lead the way," Lu Ming said. "Mu Yun, among the people who are dealing with the princess, there are top geniuses of the angel clan. They are extremely strong, and they also have terrifying divine weapons. Even if you go, you might not be a match for them." Hua Shui's expression changed. Lu Ming had already expected this. Ling Yue was now at the peak of the 2nd layer of the Divine Emperor realm. After her talent evolved, her battle strength was astonishing. Coupled with the Elven King Bao that was stained with blood, her strength was extremely terrifying. Those who could deal with her were definitely not weak. However, Lu Ming couldn't leave her in the lurch. "I know, just lead the way." Lu Ming's face darkened slightly, and his tone became more serious. For some reason, Hua Shui's heart trembled. Facing Lu Ming's tone, she actually didn't dare to refute, as if she had met an elder. "Alright, I'll take you there." This way. In the end, Hua Shui brought Lu Ming in a certain direction. As they flew, Hua Shui introduced, "We were originally fighting with a group of demons, but those angels were so despicable. Taking advantage of our battle with the angels, they took the opportunity to attack us. Not only did they steal our demon spirit blood, they also took the opportunity to attack the princess. The princess was caught off guard and was injured. In the end, the princess used all her strength to stall the opponent, allowing me to break through and seek help. If I hadn't met you, I would have been in danger." Hua Shui gave a simple introduction, and Lu Ming roughly understood what was going on. A moment later, they approached a cliff. "It's right in front. The princess is relying on the cliff to block the opponent," Hua Shui whispered to Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded, restrained his aura, and quietly approached Hua Shui. After approaching, he quietly looked forward. In front of him, there was a huge cliff. The cliff was tens of thousands of feet tall and was very smooth, like a piece of smooth metal. At the bottom of the cliff, Ling Yue held the Elven King's bow that was stained with blood. Behind her, a towering tree appeared. Rich life essence was constantly injected into the Elven King's bow, condensing into an arrow that was aimed forward. In front of Ling Yue, a group of angel race geniuses formed a semicircle and surrounded Ling Yue. However, these angel race geniuses seemed to be very afraid of Ling Yue's arrows. They only surrounded her from afar, not daring to approach. "Ling Yue, it's better for you to surrender and seal your own cultivation. In the future, you will obediently come with us to see young Master Gabbert. Today, other than this path, you have no other choice." An angel race genius said coldly. Don't even think about it. Despicable and shameless things, I have nothing to do with Gabbert. I would rather die than seal my cultivation to see him." Ling Yue said coldly, but her face was somewhat pale. It was obvious that she was injured. Her gaze was very serious as she scanned the bodies of two of the angel race's geniuses. These two angel race's geniuses, a man and a woman, stood quietly in two different directions. They didn't speak, but the auras on their bodies were incomparably terrifying. There were more than a dozen young angel race men and women present. However, only these two people caused Ling Yue to fear them. These two people were both 10-winged angels. Their cultivations were profound and their battle prowess was powerful. Most importantly, the two of them also possessed terrifying killing weapons. When they exploded, their power was astonishing. They were not inferior to the Elven King's bow that was stained with blood. It was because of these two people that she found it difficult to break out of the encirclement. Chapter 3994. Today it's not up to you. One of the 10-winged angels said coldly. An angelic divine sword appeared on his body. Dazzling holy light spread out in all directions, emitting a powerful aura. In the surroundings, the other angel clan geniuses continuously retreated, looking at this person with reverence. Without a doubt, this angelic divine sword was a great killing weapon. When activated by this 10-winged angel, its power was extremely terrifying. The only one who could still stand was another 10-winged angel, a female angel. A crown appeared on her head. It was the angel crown. This crown was also incomparably terrifying, allowing her to block the aura of the angelic divine sword. In Ling Yue's hand, the elf king bow trembled. The blood on it seemed to be flowing. There was also a powerful aura that blocked the aura of the angelic divine sword. The male 10-winged angel's eyes were cold as he suddenly took a step forward. Boom. The earth rumbled as sword chi exploded. The stalemate was broken. Swoosh. Ling Yue made her move. An arrow pierced through the void, bringing with it a void passage as it shot towards the male 10-winged angel. Slash. Sensing the aura, the male 10-winged angel also made his move. The angelic divine sword turned into a resplendent sword light as it slashed out, accurately slashing at the arrow shot by Ling Yue. Boom. It was as if a star had exploded, erupting with a dazzling divine light. Following that, the two figures retreated. In this move, the two of them were evenly matched. In the distance, Lu Ming's expression was somewhat grave. After Ling Yue and the male 10-winged angel used their killing weapons, the power they unleashed reached the 9th level of the Divine Emperor realm. Lu Ming could only reach this level by using the mysterious ice rod. Ling Yue and the male 10-winged angel retreated, and the female 10-winged angel stepped forward. The angel crown on her head emitted a dazzling holy light. This holy light transformed into a huge palm print that slapped down towards Ling Yue. Ling Yue had just exchanged a move with the male 10-winged angel and had yet to recover. At this moment she could only use all her strength to pull the bloodied attacking king's bow and shoot out another arrow. This arrow collided with the holy light palm print, but this time, Ling Yue's hasty attack was unable to completely block the holy light palm print. She was blasted backwards by the holy light palm print and crashed into the cliff, emitting a violent boom. It was unknown what material this cliff was made of, but it was extremely hard. Even so, there were still a few cracks on the cliff that were 10,000 meters long. Ling Yue's face paled as she spat out a mouthful of blood. Princess. Hua Shui couldn't help but exclaim. This exclamation immediately alarmed the angels. Who is it? How dare you spy on the angels? Get out here. A few cold shouts rang out, and then a few voices rushed towards Lu Ming and the others like lightning. Lu Ming pursed his lips. Now he had no choice but to make a move. However, Lu Ming had already planned to make a move, so it was impossible for him to just stand by and watch. After getting along with each other for a period of time, excluding that inexplicable engagement, they could be considered friends. Lu Ming would not sit by and watch his friends be in danger and not make a move. Just now he was only thinking about how to make a move. Now there was no need to think. You stay here and don't move. Leave the rest to me. Lu Ming sent a sound transmission to Hua Shui. Although Hua Shui's cultivation wasn't weak, having the cultivation of the 4th Divine Emperor layer, and her battle prowess was stronger than her cultivation, at least half of the angels were not weaker than Hua Shui, or even stronger than her. If she went out, she wouldn't be able to help at all. After saying that, Lu Ming directly rushed out. As soon as he rushed out, everyone saw Lu Ming. Mu Yun. Ling Yue was the first to cry out in alarm. She was clearly very surprised to meet Lu Ming here. It's him, it's Mu Yun. It's the little boy who challenged Gabbert. He's overestimating himself. He surprisingly dared walk into a trap. The angels were also surprised. They hadn't thought that Lu Ming would dare to rush out on his own. But immediately after they released ice-cold murderous intent. In particular, the few elites of the angel clan who had taken the lead were emitting cold murderous intent. They waved their palms and a few terrifying sword gleams charged toward Lu Ming. There were 3 angels who attacked Lu Ming. They were all 6-winged angels, but their cultivation levels weren't weak. They had the strength of the 4th godly emperor layer. Because they were 6-winged angels, they had the strength of the 5th godly emperor layer. However, Lu Ming didn't care about that. Boom. Lu Ming had already activated his battle incantation to increase his battle prowess by 6 times. As he was rushing out, his battle prowess had already increased by 6 times. He threw a few punches at the 6-winged angels. His powerful punches destroyed the sword lights released by the 6-winged angels. His punches didn't stop and continued bombarding the 3 6-winged angels. The 3 6-winged angels gave horrible shrieks and their bodies exploded. They died on the spot. The angels were astonished. Lu Ming's battle prowess had exceeded their expectations. As for Lu Ming, he didn't stop. He was already rushing towards the angels. Woohoo! Woohoo! The Zephyr Pearl appeared in his hand. A strong wind swept out and enveloped all the angels. The angels who were closest to Lu Ming didn't have time to dodge. They gave horrible shrieks and died in the strong wind. The strong wind continued blowing. It seemed like it was going to engulf all the angels. The other angels' expressions changed drastically. They kept retreating. "Little boy, don't you dare!" shouted the 10-winged angel icily. The angel crown on her head shone and turned into a sword of holy light. There was a rumbling sound. The strong wind was cut in half by the holy light. It turned into energy and dissipated. Then, the holy light from the angel crown condensed into a pair of wings. The wings flashed and the 10-winged angel quickly approached Lu Ming. Another holy light sword slashed towards Lu Ming. Her angel crown was filled with boundless holy light. That holy light could transform into any kind of attack. The holy light sword slashed through the sky. It seemed like the sky had been cut in half. Lu Ming had the feeling that it would be difficult to resist. That was normal because that sword had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Even with the Zephyr Pearl, Lu Ming couldn't resist it. He could only use the Xianbing rod. It wasn't the time to hide his strength. Lu Ming didn't hesitate to take out the Xianbing rod. Forbidden strength poured into the Xianbing rod. Boom. The obsidian staff quickly grew in size and blasted out. The void turned into chaos as it collided with the sword of holy light. There was an earth-shattering explosion. The sky seemed to be divided into 2 worlds. On one side it was bone-chilling cold. The air was frozen. On the other side it was a world of holy light. It was dazzling. Then Lu Ming and the 10-winged angel retreated. How is that possible? The hearts of the other angels trembled violently. Chapter 3995. The hearts of the other angels were greatly shaken. Lu Ming could actually fight against a female 10-winged angel. This was too shocking. After all, Lu Ming only had the strength of the 1st godly emperor layer. Even if he had a terrifying weapon, he shouldn't be able to defeat a female 10-winged angel. After all, a female 10-winged angel's cultivation level was higher. Logically speaking, the higher one's cultivation was, the more one would be able to unleash the power of such a great killing weapon, and the more powerful it would be. Ling Yuwei had relied on the strength of the 2nd godly emperor layer to control the King Elf Bao. That was already terrifying. It could only be said that Ling Yuwei's talent was too high. She was too compatible with the King Elf Bao. Lu Ming only had the strength of the 1st godly emperor layer. How could he release such power? There were only 2 explanations. One was that Lu Ming's talent was too high. The other was that Lu Ming's weapon was too high level. It was even more mysterious and unfathomable. They were more inclined to the second possibility. The level of the killer weapon that Lu Ming controlled was too high. The eyes of many angels were filled with greed. Die. Lu Ming retreated and waved his Xianbing staff again. His staff was like a mountain oppressing his opponent. In the surroundings, the other angels kept retreating. That was a collision between cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. They couldn't get involved. You're just a cultivator of the 1st godly emperor layer. Even if you have a treasure, let's see how many attacks you can make. Shouted the female 10-winged angel coldly. Her holy light became even more dazzling. She poured all her holy light into her crown. This time, the holy light turned into an angel's sword and slashed towards Lu Ming. Dong. The Xianbing staff and the angel's sword collided again. Waves of qi rolled out in all directions. While Lu Ming and the female 10-winged angel were fighting, Ling Yuwei and the male 10-winged angel were also fighting. The 2 of them were also using their weapons. The scene was terrifying. The four young geniuses were all controlling their weapons. They were extremely focused. In the blink of an eye, they had already exchanged 5 or 6 attacks. Lu Ming's breathing became rapid. Controlling the Xianbing staff consumed an astonishing amount of energy. Even though he had a forbidden body, he couldn't bear it. However, the expressions of the two 10-winged angels were somewhat gloomy. Using their weapons like that was extremely taxing on them. They couldn't bear it anymore. Die. The two angel race prodigies were enraged. Their essence, qi, and spirit were highly concentrated as they unleashed their most powerful attacks. They pushed their killing weapons to the limit. Lu Ming had no choice but to treat it seriously. There was a steady stream of energy gushing out of every cell in his body and into the Bingxian rod. The Bingxian rod vibrated and an ancient aura exuded from it. Lu Ming then blasted it out. The two of them exchanged another blow. At this moment, the world lost its sound. The earth rumbled and terrifying cracks were torn open. It was not just Lu Ming and the female 10-winged angel. The other two killer weapons were also having a showdown. But at this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed. He realized that the Xianbing staff in his hand was shaking non-stop. He couldn't hold it anymore. What's going on? Lu Ming was surprised, but in the next moment, he realized that the angel crown on the head of the female 10-winged angel was also shaking violently. Not only that, Ling Yue's blood elf royal bow and the male 10-winged angel's angel divine sword were also trembling violently. Swoosh. In the next moment, the Xianbing staff actually broke free from Lu Ming's control and flew out. At the same time, the other three people's weapons also flew into the sky. A roar spread in all directions. A huge figure actually appeared within the Xianbing staff. This was a giant ape. Its entire body was snow white. It looked like a snow ape. The snow ape held a popsicle in its hand and swept it in all directions. A figure also appeared on Ling Yue's blood elf royal bow. It was an elf king with a crown. He held a war bow in his hand and wanted to shoot into the sky. As for the weapons in the hands of the two 10-winged angels, a figure also appeared. They were two powerful angels. Behind these two angels there were 10 wings. Holy light soared into the sky. Boom, 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 boom. 4 powerful figures collided in the sky. They were in a stalemate. Lu Ming's eyes revealed a hint of shock. He was very familiar with this scene. He had seen it before. Once in the Xianbing Life Soul Palace, he and Ling Yue fought against Xiao Wuji with their weapons. In the end, the 3 weapons flew out on their own and fought against each other. This time it was exactly the same as the last time. It was also the 4 people's weapons that flew out to fight against each other. Kid, this is the divine weapon self-recovery. The bone demon reminded. The divine weapon self-recovery? Lu Ming was puzzled. That's right. When they use this kind of divine weapon to fight fiercely, your essence, energy and spirit will rise to the extreme. The opposing divine weapon will automatically awaken the internal power, thus forming a confrontation. The bone demon explained. Lu Ming was stunned. It was getting more and more like this. Therefore, you can't rely too much on this kind of divine weapon in the future. After all, divine weapons are external objects. They are used by the top geniuses to protect themselves. In the end, you still have to rely on yourself. For example, if you encounter other geniuses who also have this kind of divine weapon, it will form a confrontation. Without the divine weapon, you still have to rely on yourself to fight. The bone demon explained. Lu Ming came to a realization. In the next moment, he felt a terrifying aura locking onto his body. It was the geniuses of the angel race. Mu Yun, now that you have lost your weapon, let's see how you will fight against me with your own ability. The female 10-winged angel's eyes were cold. Holy light burst out and condensed into an angel sword. She slashed it at Lu Ming. Qiu. Lu Ming's heart moved. Qiu turned into armor and covered his body. A silver spear appeared in his hand and he pierced it out. Boom. Lu Ming collided with the opponent's holy light. He felt a powerful force surging towards him. His body shook violently and he was forced to retreat. The power of the 7th godly emperor layer. A thought flashed across Lu Ming's mind. The female 10-winged angel's cultivation was at the 4th godly emperor layer, but her talent was amazing. She could fight someone who was 3 levels higher than her. This talent was second only to Yin Jiuling, a candidate on the universe genius list. Lu Ming and Qiu were no match for her. Die. The female 10-winged angel shouted coldly. She held the holy light divine sword and charged towards Lu Ming again. Is that so? Lu Ming sneered and the Gale Pearl appeared in his hand again. After all, he had more than one type of trump card. Seeing the gale pearl, the female 10-winged angel's pupils shrank sharply and she retreated rapidly. Didn't you want to kill me? Now you want to retreat? Lu Ming sneered and stepped forward, chasing after the female 10-winged angel. Chapter 3996. Lu Ming chased after the female 10-winged angel, but on the other side Ling Yuwei was in danger. After losing his killing weapon, the male 10-winged angel immediately charged towards Ling Yuwei. The male 10-winged angel was at the 4th level of the Divine Emperor realm, and his battle prowess could also cross 3 levels, reaching the 7th level of the Divine Emperor realm. As for Ling Yuwei, she was only at the 2nd level of the Divine Emperor realm. After exchanging 2 moves, Ling Yuwei coughed out blood and retreated. Ling Yuwei, how can your strength be so strong? Although Ling Yuwei was injured and retreated, the 10-winged angel was still incomparably shocked. Ling Yuwei was only at the 2nd level of the Divine Emperor realm, and her cultivation was 2 levels weaker than his. She was actually able to withstand 2 of his moves, and was only injured and not seriously injured at that. It was completely possible to cross 4 levels or even close to 5 levels. How could he not be shocked? In the past, Ling Yuwei was only ranked 16th in the top 100 quasi-emperor rankings. In terms of talent, she was definitely not stronger than him. And now he was much weaker than Ling Yuwei. This woman is a scourge. I'm afraid she will threaten young Master Gabbard in the future. A thought flashed through the male 10-winged angel's mind. His eyes shone with a cold light as he quickly formed a seal with his hands. Then a sparkling cross appeared. The cross was like a mountain as it pressed down on Ling Yuwei with terrifying might. Body as an arrow. Ling Yuwei shouted as her body was completely enveloped by a green divine light. Her body seemed to have turned into an arrow. With his own body as an arrow, the world as a bow. The air shook violently like the sound of a bowstring. Ling Yuwei's body turned into an arrow and flew out, colliding with the Holy Cross. A violent explosion rang out, and the Holy Cross made a kacha sound. In the end, with a bang, it exploded, and Ling Yuwei also revealed her original body. She frantically retreated, blood still flowing out of her mouth. Even though she had used her full strength, she was still no match for her opponent. Ling Yuwei, since you can't be used by young Master Gabbard, then I can only get rid of you. Go. The male 10-winged angel spoke coldly, wanting to finish off Ling Yuwei in one go. But at this moment, a sense of crisis suddenly filled his heart. All the hair on his body stood up, and without thinking he moved dozens of meters to the side. A terrifying wind blade flew past where he was standing just now. Lu Ming made his move. He controlled the gale and sent out a wind blade. After forcing back the male 10-winged angel with a single move, Lu Ming's figure flashed and arrived in front of Ling Yuwei. Are you all right? Lu Ming asked. I'm fine. Are you that concerned about me? Ling Yuwei revealed a smile. At this time she could still smile. If Hua Shui hadn't begged me, I wouldn't have bothered to come. Lu Ming pursed his lips. At this time, the people from the Angel clan had already surrounded Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei at the bottom of the cliff. This kid still has a great killing weapon in his hands. Be careful. The 2 10-winged angels warned. This kid's great killing weapon isn't very powerful. It's only equivalent to the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer. Let us do it. A few angels stepped forward, and powerful auras erupted from them. These angels were all 8-winged angels, but their cultivation levels were astonishingly high. They had reached the 6th godly emperor layer. In addition, there was also an angel who looked to be in his 30s. He was only a 6-winged angel, but his cultivation level had reached the 7th godly emperor layer. There were a total of 5 angels. These 5 angels had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer, or even infinitely close to the 9th godly emperor layer. Of course, they were older than the 2 10-winged angels. A moment ago, Lu Ming and the others had used their great killing weapons to fight. Their strength had reached the 9th godly emperor layer, so they couldn't interfere. Now that the great killing weapons were in a deadlock, they could finally interfere. Lu Ming's gaze was grave. These few people gave him a lot of pressure. Let's attack together and kill Mu Yun first, said the 6-winged angel. He looked like he was in his 30s, but he was actually very old. He had been practicing cultivation for a very long time, so his fighting abilities were incredible. He was holding an angel sword, turned into a beam of light and moved towards Lu Ming. The other 4 strong cultivators also moved towards Lu Ming. Whoosh! Lu Ming controlled the Zephyr Pearl and a strong wind swept out towards the 5 angels. Break! The 5 angels raised their swords at the same time. Dazzling sword lights moved towards the gale. Slash! Slash! Ear-piercing sounds spread in the air. The holy light swords and the gale kept colliding. In the end, the gale was blocked. Lu Ming's gaze was somewhat grave. When the 5 angel experts joined forces, their combat power was very powerful. Back in the day when he had destroyed the Flying Stars sect, Lu Ming had used the Zephyr Pearl to easily kill a cultivator of the 8th godly emperor layer. But just now he had been blocked by the 5 angels. When the 5 angels joined hands, their fighting abilities were very close to the 9th godly emperor layer. Luckily, the energy in the Zephyr Pearl could be drawn out continuously. It didn't consume much of Lu Ming's energy. A gust of strong wind rushed out. Lu Ming immediately drew out a gust of strong wind that swept out. "Follow me closely, let's rush out together," Lu Ming said to Ling Yuwei telepathically. He pulled Ling Yuwei's small hand and followed the gale, rushing forward. "You want to rush out? Impossible. Go." The 5 experts of the angel race roared. Holy light illuminated half of the sky. The holy light divine sword slashed toward Lu Ming and collided violently with the strong wind. This time the gale was still blocked. However, Lu Ming immediately drew out another gust of gale. Being bombarded by the gale, even the 5 angels couldn't withstand it. They couldn't help but retreat. "Damn it, what kind of killing weapon is this? How can it be so powerful?" roared the 30-year-old angel furiously. He was extremely irritable. Of course, he didn't know that the Zephyr Pearl was completely different from other killing weapons. The Zephyr Pearl stored a peerless cultivator's gale. It was like a storage device. As long as it was drawn out, it would be fine. Lu Ming kept drawing out strong winds. The experts of the angel race kept retreating. "Use the angel battle formation," shouted the 10-winged angel. "Set up the angel battle formation." Set up the formation. Their silhouettes flickered. More than 10 angels, including the 5 who had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer, joined in. A pillar of holy light soared into the sky and broke through the clouds. More than 10 angels formed a battle formation. Their chi was the same and they fused together. Then they turned into a gigantic holy light sword and slashed out violently. Boom. That holy light sword was really astonishing. Its power had reached the 9th godly emperor layer. Lu Ming's gale was directly cut apart by the holy light sword. The sword chi didn't stop, continuing to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming's expression changed drastically. He quickly retreated with Ling Yuwei. At the same time, another gale rushed out from the Zephyr Pearl. Chapter 3997. Lu Ming kept summoning gusts of wind to block the attacks of the angel battle formation. However, the angel battle formation formed by a dozen angels had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. It had already surpassed the power of the Zephyr Pearl. Boom, boom, boom. The holy light sword kept colliding with the gusts of wind. Each time it collided, it would break a gust of wind. "Kill this boy in one go," shouted the male 10-winged angel furiously. The holy light sword became even more dazzling as it rapidly approached Lu Ming. "Oh no!" Lu Ming frowned. He kept trying to recall the Bingxin staff. He wanted to use it to block the angel's attack, but the Bingxin staff didn't react at all. It was already entangled with the 2 great weapons of the angels. If he didn't have the Bingxin staff, should he use the purple copper coffin? But sometimes the purple copper coffin was useless. Lu Ming realized that the purple copper coffin would only react under certain special circumstances. For example, when facing something very ancient, or when facing something related to a primitive god, or when facing the heavenly human race in the heavenly palace. When facing ordinary creatures in the primitive universe, it would sometimes not work. Lu Ming wasn't sure if it would work. If it didn't, it would be even more troublesome. At that moment, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. Because at this moment, dense runes suddenly appeared on the ground and in the void nearby. Countless runes slithered around like tiny snakes, intertwining together to form a large formation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The great formation shone. Then chains suddenly appeared and wrapped around the angels. This time the angels were caught off guard. They couldn't dodge even if they wanted to. "Break!" Some of the more powerful angels roared. Their divine power erupted, forming a shockwave that dispersed the chains. However, some of the weaker angels were not as strong. They were all entangled by the chains. Then, with a pull of the chains, these angels were sent flying. Following that, more runes appeared in the sky and on the ground, forming an array formation. This time, many sword lights condensed and charged towards the angels. Those with weaker cultivations and insufficient strength were directly killed, dying on the spot. Those who were more powerful, such as a few 8-winged angels and 10-winged angels, kept flashing. At the same time, they swept out their angelic swords, breaking apart the sword light formed by the great array. But this way the angel battle formation would be broken. Go! How could Lu Ming miss such an opportunity? He immediately summoned a strong gale and rushed in a certain direction. In that direction there were only two angels. These two experts of the angel clan were currently blocking the sword light condensed by the formation. Then they were hit by the gale and couldn't help but retreat. This way there was a gap in their encirclement of Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. Lu Ming brought Ling Yuwei and rushed out of the gap at an astonishing speed. Damn it, stop them. Crush this formation. The geniuses of the angel race let out a furious roar. Their bodies were like holy suns, emitting a blinding light that blasted the ground and pierced through the void. The runes engraved on the ground and space also exploded and turned into nothingness. However, it was already too late. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei had already rushed out of the encirclement. Come this way. A figure appeared in front of them and called out to Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. It really is this guy. A smile appeared on Lu Ming's face. If the figure in front of him wasn't Dandan, who else could it be? However, why would Dandan save him? Could it be that he had already recognized him? After all, Dandan had followed him for so many years, so he was too familiar with his habits and tone. It wasn't impossible for him to recognize him. Coincidentally, Dandan's direction was exactly the direction where Hua Shui was hiding. Lu Ming didn't hesitate at all. He brought Ling Yuwei and directly rushed over. Halfway through, he brought Hua Shui and rushed towards Dandan. Brat, you're the one who's up to no good. You dare to go against our angel race? You're courting death. The angel race also noticed Dandan and immediately roared. Just now, 6 of the angel race's geniuses had died under Dandan's formation. Otherwise, the angel battle formation wouldn't have been broken so easily. Not only did this person dare to attack their angel race, he even dared to kill their genius. This was simply unforgivable. The ones I'm killing are you birdmen. Dandan clamored, not afraid at all. Back on the dragon race's mother planet, the supreme expert of the angel race had joined forces with the Lord of Heaven of the Heavenly Palace to deal with Lu Ming. In the end, they had forced the experts of the world turtle race to force him to leave. He had long been unhappy with the angel race. He would destroy anyone the angel race wanted to deal with. You're courting death. These angel race geniuses were furious. They flapped their wings and quickly chased after Dandan, Lu Ming, and Ling Yuwei. You want to chase me? No way. Dandan shouted as he ran. At the same time, more runes appeared on the ground and in the void. The runes were densely packed and filled the void. Then they interweaved into various formations. Some were used to trap enemies, some were used to attack. They turned into countless divine lights and blasted towards the angel race's geniuses. The formation here was obviously something Dandan had spent some time on. The formation that suddenly appeared on the battlefield was set up by Dandan at the last minute. Therefore, the formation here was even stronger. The angel race's geniuses were immediately blocked. The remaining 10 angel race's geniuses attacked with all their strength, destroying the formation on the ground and in the air. They chased forward, but before they could chase for long, more formations appeared. After a few times, Lu Ming, Ling Yuwei, Hua Shui, and Dandan had already fled without a trace. Damn it! Who is that kid? His formation is so powerful. It seems to be hiding his aura. I can't tell what race he is. Damn it! The remaining angel race's geniuses were furious. This time they had suffered a double loss. They were unable to take down Ling Yuwei, nor were they able to kill Lu Ming. On the other hand, their side had lost many geniuses and suffered heavy losses. Inform the others. Even if we have to search through the entire 8 Snake Mountain range, we have to find Mu Yun, Ling Yuwei, and the others. The male angel race's genius roared. There's no rush. Their divine weapons are still here. It's not too late for us to take away their divine weapons first. An angel race's genius suggested. He looked at the 4 great weapons in the sky that were still burning with greed. At this moment, the 4 weapons of mass destruction in the sky suddenly shook violently and flew away. The angel, the elf king, and the snow ape on top of them all disappeared. Then the ice mystic rod and the bloodied elf king Bao pierced through space and disappeared without a trace in a flash. Chapter 3998. The mysterious ice rod and the bloodied elf king Bao pierced through the void and disappeared without a trace. The 10 heavens chosen of the angel clan were dumbstruck. Then their handsome and beautiful faces flushed red. Ah! Damn it, send me a sound transmission. Inform the others. Angry roars rang out one after another. Then these angel clan geniuses used the dream jade to inform the other angel clan geniuses in the 8 Snake Mountain range. As one of the top 10 races of the prehistoric 10,000 races and a close relationship with the Heavenly Palace, The angel clan naturally had a lot of people participating in the heavenly soldier examination. Immediately, all the angels in the 8-Snake Mountain range received the news and began to search for Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Under the lead of Dandan, they quickly arrived at a safe place. "Brother, thank you for your help." Lu Ming was the first to thank him, pretending not to know Dandan. "You're welcome. I just don't like those birdmen. In the past, one of my little brothers was dealt with by these birdmen. You are the enemy of these birdmen, and the enemy of the enemy is a friend." Dandan grinned. A few black lines appeared on Lu Ming's head. This guy had told everyone that he was his little brother, and Lu Ming really couldn't make a move right now. Otherwise he would have to let Dandan clearly know who was whose little brother. "But then again, in order to save you, I offended the angel race. This is a very big risk. If you want to thank me, I won't refuse. Give me 1,000 Emperor-level divine pills and that's enough." Yi Shiwen smiled. "You're right." Dandan's voice changed as his eyes moved between Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Lu Ming despised him. Dandan, this guy, had finally revealed his true colors. He was still as thick-skinned and greedy as ever. Moreover, the moment he opened his mouth, it was already 1,000 Emperor-level pills. He really could open his mouth. "This. That." Ling Yue stammered. The crux of the matter was that 1,000 Emperor-level divine pellets were simply too precious. She simply couldn't take them out. "I don't even have 1,000 Emperor-level divine pills. How about this? We'll owe you a favor. Take it as repayment for saving our lives." Lu Ming directly wrote an empty check. In terms of being thick-skinned, Lu Ming believed that he was no worse than Dandan. "That's not very good." Dandan glanced at Lu Ming from the corner of his eyes. He felt that Lu Ming's behavior was somewhat familiar. "How about this? I don't know how to address you, friend. I will remember this favor. If I have the chance in the future, I will definitely compensate you. However, I don't have that many Emperor-level divine pills with me right now," Ling Yue said. After all, she was the elf princess and her skin was not as thick as Lu Ming's. "I am known as the Array Ancestor." Dandan clasped his hands behind his back, looking like a peerless expert. "Bah." Lu Ming stared at him intently. He really couldn't hold it in any longer. Dandan, this fellow, was starting to put on an act again. "Brat, what do you mean by this? You don't want to live anymore, do you?" Dandan stared fiercely at Lu Ming. The more he looked at Lu Ming, the more unhappy he became. "No, don't misunderstand. My nose was itchy just now, so I couldn't help but sneeze," Lu Ming said. Dandan was still in a bad mood as he fiercely swept a few glances at Lu Ming. In his heart, he was calculating when he would teach Lu Ming a lesson. However, when he thought of Lu Ming's terrifying battle prowess, he cursed in his heart. At this moment, the void broke open, and the ice-profound rod and the elf king Bao flew out, respectively flying into Lu Ming and Ling Yue's bodies and disappearing. Dandan's eyes lit up as he watched. "Forget it, what kind of person am I? I won't bother with you guys. As for the reward, I can also forget about it. However, I have a condition," Dandan said. "What condition?" Ling Yue said. "Next, how about we cooperate? Let's hunt demons together and obtain demon spirit blood. We can even hunt angels and obtain demon spirit blood from them," Dandan said. Lu Ming knew that Dandan had finally revealed his true purpose. He had taken a fancy to Lu Ming and Ling Yue's battle prowess and wanted to cooperate with them to obtain demon spirit blood. "It's your honor to be able to cooperate with me. With my help, the speed at which you hunt evil demons will greatly increase," Dandan said. "Alright, let's cooperate." Ling Yue was thin-skinned. Dandan had indeed saved them, so she couldn't refuse. "Ah, good. Girls are really straightforward, unlike some people." As he spoke, Dandan glanced at Lu Ming unhappily. Lu Ming pretended not to see it. "Look at me, I'll find some demons for you right now." Dandan opened his mouth and quickly formed a seal with both hands. Then, endless runes appeared from Dandan's hands. These runes were like small worms that spread through the air before disappearing. "What a brilliant rune Dao. Could it be that you are from the world's divine turtle clan?" Ling Yue revealed a look of admiration. She was also proficient in the way of runes and formations, but compared to Dandan, the difference was too great. It was like the difference between heaven and earth. In Dandan's hands, the way of runes and formations had simply turned into art. Although she felt that Dandan's words were unreliable, the way of runes and formations was truly unfathomable. In the universe, the most famous rune formation was the world's divine turtle. "Little girl, you have some eyesight." Dandan revealed a complacent expression and continued to control the runes. Not long after, Dandan's gaze moved as he said, "Got it. There's a demon tribe 130,000 miles to the southeast. It's not very strong, we can deal with it. He found it just like that. Lu Ming was also rather surprised. It seemed that during this period of time, Dandan's rune array Dao had become more and more powerful. Seeing the surprise in Lu Ming's eyes, Dandan became even more proud. He raised his nose to the sky and said, "Follow me." The four of them headed towards the southeast. Sure enough, not long after they discovered a demon tribe. It was only an ordinary tribe and Lu Ming and the others could easily deal with it. They charged in and not long after the demon tribe was destroyed. The demon spirit blood fell into their hands. Following that, they relied on Dandan's formation to easily find demons every time. As expected, the speed at which they obtained demon spirit blood had increased by a lot. The entire 8-Snake Mountain range was filled with slaughter. Those who participated in the assessment were constantly hunting demons. Of course, some people would also die in the hands of demons and become their food. Just like that, half a month passed. 8-Snake Mountain Range, where the 8 mountain ranges converged, was the core of the 8-Snake Mountain Range. It was also the location of the 8-Snake Demon Kingdom, where the strongest demons of the 8-Snake Mountain Range were gathered. In a large hall, a young demon sat high up, looking incomparably dignified. "Prince, recently people from the Great Desolate Universe have come to the 8-Snake Mountain Range to train and hunt our race. What should we do?" Below, an old demon reported. Chapter 3999. The young abyss devil above was the prince of the 8-Snake Devil Kingdom, Samoras. Samoras's eyes flashed with murderous intent. "What should we do?" "Of course, we have to kill all the beings of the primitive universe." "Prince, there are some people in the primitive universe who are extremely terrifying. If we send an army to fight them head-on, we might suffer heavy losses, and the kingdoms of the other mountain ranges will take advantage of this." The old abyss devil below expressed his worry. The abyss devils of the dark universe were divided into different forces of different sizes. These forces would fight and attack each other. "Some of them are extremely terrifying?" "I'm afraid they aren't." "Don't worry, I'll meet them personally." Samoras smiled faintly. As he spoke, his body began to undergo drastic changes. The fangs in his mouth disappeared, and the skin on his body changed. Finally, the abyss devil wings on his back disappeared. He had turned into a young human with purple hair and was extremely handsome. Moreover, from his aura, it was not the aura of an abyss devil. It was as if he had completely turned into a human. Below, all the demons were stunned. Then many of them began to tremble. It was a tremor of excitement. "Prince, have you awakened the progenitor bloodline?" The old abyss devil said with a trembling voice. "Yes, I awakened the progenitor bloodline not long ago," Samoras said with a face full of confidence. All the abyss devils below were extremely excited. Some of them were even crying. "God bless our 8-Snake Devil Kingdom. Our 8-Snake Devil Kingdom will definitely rise in the hands of Prince. In the future, all the abyss devils' territories will resound with Prince's name." Some abyss devils shouted excitedly. Among the abyss devils, awakening the progenitor bloodline represented talent. Incomparably terrifying talent also represented potential. However, it was too difficult to awaken the progenitor bloodline. There might not even be 1 in a trillion abyss devils. In any case, no abyss devil in the 8-Snake Devil Kingdom had ever awakened the progenitor bloodline. Samoras could be said to be the #1 prodigy in the history of the 8-Snake Devil Kingdom. Once the demon progenitor bloodline was awakened, his body would undergo a huge change. He could take the form of a demon or a demon progenitor. The so-called demon progenitor form was just like Samoras's current human form. In the form of a primogenitor, even his aura would change. Unless one's cultivation was much higher than his, it would be very difficult to discover his true identity as a demon. "I will infiltrate the ancient desolate universe and kill some of the strongest cultivators. You gather an army. Gather all the cultivators of the 7th, 8th, and 9th godly emperor layers. Come with me and we'll destroy the ancient desolate universe," said the prince. Samoro announced. "Understood." Below, all the abyssals respectfully accepted the order, their eyes filled with deep reverence. Now that the prince had awakened his primogenitor bloodline, his future was limitless. As long as they followed the prince's footsteps, their future would also be bright. Immediately, almost all of the top experts of the Snake Demon Kingdom were mobilized, moving in all directions. As for Samoras, he personally left the 8-Snake Demon Palace and disappeared into the vast forest. Several days later, a terrifying fluctuation erupted in a valley. After a few breaths, the fluctuation disappeared and a few young people were lying on the ground, lifeless. Those are the geniuses of the top 10 clans of the ancient desolate universe. How disappointing. Samoro clasped his hands behind his back and left. In another part of the Eight Snake Mountain range, there was an ordinary demon tribe. At that moment, a dozen people appeared outside the demon tribe. They were from the Sun Clan, one of the strongest clans in the ancient desolate universe. They were ranked 31st. We've already investigated. The strongest cultivator of the demon tribe has the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer. The others are all below the 8th godly emperor layer. We can easily defeat them. Alright, let's attack. A demon tribe should have a lot of spiritual blood. In 2 minutes, if nothing happens, let's attack. The Sun Clan's geniuses communicated secretly. 2 minutes later, the Sun Clan's geniuses' silhouettes flickered and they rushed into the demon tribe. Retreat. However, when the Sun Moon Clan's geniuses rushed into the demon tribe's members quickly retreated as if they knew they were coming. The Sun Clan's geniuses were surprised and then continued chasing the demon tribe. However, a moment later, a terrifying chi appeared around the demon tribe. A tall and sturdy demon tribe's geniuses appeared and surrounded them. Demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. So many demons of the 8th godly emperor layer, we've been fooled. We're finished, shouted the Sun Clan's geniuses. Their faces were deathly pale. They could sense that there were 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer and more than 10 demons of the 8th godly emperor layer. Only 3 of them had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer and none of them had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. They had thought that they could easily defeat an ordinary demon tribe, but now they were facing a group of ferocious beasts. Kill them. What delicious meat. Kill them. The demons laughed loudly and started attacking the Sun Clan's geniuses. There were 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer and more than 10 demons of the 8th godly emperor layer. The Sun Clan's geniuses couldn't fight back at all. After a few minutes, the Sun Clan's geniuses were all killed. These ancient desolate universes' geniuses are all young. They're rich in blood and chi. They're very nutritious. Make some soup and reward everyone, said a demon of the 9th godly emperor layer. The other evil demons immediately howled in excitement. The same thing happened all over the 8 Snakes mountain range. The 8 Snakes demon kingdom sent a large number of cultivators of the 9th and 8th godly emperor layer to take the exam and kill them. Samo Luo pretended to be a young genius of the ancient desolate universe. He hid among the ancient desolate universe's geniuses and killed the strongest cultivators of the ancient desolate universe. In a short time, the ancient desolate universe's geniuses suffered disastrous losses. In the southeast of the 8 Snakes mountain range, Lu Ming, Dandan, Ling Yue and Hua Shui were still looking for demons. 160,000 li to the west, there's a demon tribe. Dandan used a deployment spell to find another demon tribe. The 4 of them didn't hesitate and rushed towards the demon tribe. They had already used this method to destroy 9 demon tribes. They had gained a lot. If they continued like this, not only would they be able to complete the exam, but they would also gain a lot. After all, in the Heavenly Palace, merit points could be turned into all kinds of treasures. Chapter 4000. They moved like lightning. It didn't take long for them to arrive hundreds of thousands of miles away. It was an ordinary tribe. It didn't look any different from the tribes Lu Ming and the others had encountered before. There were some demons patrolling the walls of the tribe. Attack. Lu Ming and the others didn't hesitate and charged forward. Swish swish. Before Lu Ming and Dandan could attack, Ling Yue and Hua Shui had already attacked. A few arrows pierced through the void and killed a few patrolling demons on the city wall. It didn't even cause the slightest movement. After killing the patrolling demons on the city wall, they quietly entered the city. However, as soon as they entered the city wall, Lu Ming and the others felt that something was wrong. Because the city wall was empty. Not a single demon could be seen. Not good, we've been tricked. Retreat. Lu Ming's expression changed. He immediately thought that something was wrong. There was not a single demon in the city. It was most likely an ambush. Dandan, Ling Yue and Hua Shui were not ordinary people. They immediately thought of this. The 4 of them were about to leave. Boom boom. Powerful auras burst out from all directions. Then, numerous figures of demons appeared and surrounded them. Among them, a few demons were the most terrifying and had the strongest auras. They were existences of the 9th godly emperor layer, and there were 2 of them. In addition, there were at least a dozen 8th godly emperor layer demons. As for the 7th godly emperor layer demons or those below, there were even more. They surrounded the place, blocking all paths of retreat for Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming and the others' expressions were extremely ugly. Obviously they had been ambushed. These demon experts had been lying in ambush for a long time. All the demons around them looked at Lu Ming and the others. Only 4 creatures from the primitive universe and their cultivation is so weak. The strongest one is only of the 4th godly emperor layer? It seems that they are just a few small things. These demons spoke. Many of them looked disappointed. They had been lying in ambush here to catch a big fish. They hadn't expected that they would only meet a few small things. In their eyes, Lu Ming and the others were just small things. The strongest one was Hua Shui, 4th godly emperor layer. Next were Ling Yue and Dandan, 2nd godly emperor layer. Indeed, Dandan's cultivation level had risen rapidly. He had reached the 2nd godly emperor layer, 1 layer higher than Lu Ming. In the eyes of these evil demons, such a cultivation was indeed a small fry. Those people were all cultivators of the 7th godly emperor layer. Kill. A few demons of the 7th godly emperor layer flapped their wings and attacked Lu Ming and the others. To be honest, Lu Ming and the others were not strong enough to deal with the demons at the 7th level of the God Emperor realm. However, they had a powerful weapon. Break to the left. Lu Ming sent a sound transmission to Ling Yue. There were cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer in front of them and behind them. There were no cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer on their left and right. It was a good opportunity to break through. In the blink of an eye, a few cultivators of the 7th godly emperor layer arrived in front of Lu Ming and the others. They raised their demon swords and attacked Lu Ming and the others. Gale. Lu Ming immediately took out the Gale Pearl, which summoned a terrifying gale that swept out. A few demons of the 7th godly emperor layer were engulfed by the wind. They gave a horrible shriek and died. When Lu Ming took out the Gale Pearl, they were already rushing to the left. Ling Yue had already taken out the blood-stained Elven King Bao. She poured an endless amount of energy into the Elven King Bao. Bzzz. Bzzz. Ling Yue continuously drew her bow. A few arrows turned into dazzling lights and shot to the left, towards the demons of the 8th godly emperor layer. Fast, really fast. The arrows pierced through the air and arrived in front of the demons of the 8th godly emperor layer in a flash. Fear, danger, these feelings surfaced in the hearts of the demons. The demons of the 8th godly emperor layer roared. Demon chi rose from their bodies and formed a dozen layers of defense in front of them. At the same time, they slashed their demon swords at Ling Yue's arrows. Boom, boom, boom. The demons of the 8th godly emperor layer struck the arrows with their demon swords, but they couldn't stop the arrows. Their demon swords shook violently, and their hands were crushed. Their bones exploded and their flesh and blood splashed. Their demon swords flew out of their hands. The arrows didn't stop and hit their defenses. It was like a steel nail hitting a piece of tofu. The dozens of layers of demonic chi defenses on their bodies were instantly penetrated. The arrows pierced through their bodies. The demons of the 8th godly emperor layer were dumbstruck. They couldn't believe their eyes. Then they gave horrible shrieks and their bodies exploded. They died on the spot. Ling Yue's Elven King Bao was as powerful as a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. It was normal for a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer to kill a cultivator of the 8th godly emperor layer. After the demons of the 8th godly emperor layer were killed, Lu Ming and the others rushed to the left side of the wall. Lu Ming released a few gusts of wind towards the other demons. Dozens of demons were sucked in by the gusts of wind. You want to die. Die. At that moment, the other demons finally reacted, including the 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Before, they had underestimated Lu Ming and the others. They had thought that Lu Ming and the others wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. When Lu Ming and the others attacked, they had reacted too slowly. Lu Ming and the others had killed many of their strong cultivators. At that moment, the 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer attacked furiously with their swords. The 2 saber gleams crossed a distance of thousands of miles and slashed toward Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Because Lu Ming and Ling Yue were the ones who had attacked a moment before. Oh no. Lu Ming and Ling Yue's faces darkened. Cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer were terrifying. Even though they had attacked first, they still couldn't escape from the attacks of cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. As soon as the other party attacked, a terrifying attack directly locked onto them, sealing off their path of retreat and unleashing a sure-kill attack. Ling Yue turned around, pulled her bowstring and shot an arrow. A green arrow shot towards one of the blade lights. Chapter 4001. Ling Yue shot out an arrow from the elf palace that was stained with blood. However, this arrow of hers could only block a 9th layer divine emperor. The other 9th-level Divine Emperor expert continued to slash at Lu Ming with his saber. The Ice Xian rod appeared in Lu Ming's hand. At this time it was time to fight with his life on the line, so he naturally couldn't hide it. Boom. The mysterious ice rod rapidly grew in size and swept out diagonally, colliding with the demon blade. 2 earth-shattering explosions sounded, and the attacks of both sides collapsed. All the evil demons present were shocked. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei's attacks were actually able to block the attacks of the 9th-layer Divine Emperor. It was truly terrifying. These are 2 peerless geniuses of the primitive universe. Killing them is definitely a loss for the primitive universe. That's right, their flesh and blood are definitely great supplements. The 2 9th-layer Divine Emperor roared and pounced like lightning towards Lu Ming and the others. The 9th-layer Divine Emperor realm demons were too fast. Lu Ming and the others couldn't escape even if they wanted to. They could only face them head-on. Boom. Lu Ming controlled the Ice Xian rod, which turned into a huge rod the size of a mountain and swept towards a 9th-layer Divine Emperor realm demon. As for Ling Yuwei, she once again pulled the Elf King bow and shot an arrow. The attacks of both sides collided once again, evenly matched. However, Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei's expressions were very ugly. If this continued, their situation would not be good. Because when Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei controlled the great killing weapon, although they could erupt with the battle strength of the 9th-layer Divine Emperor realm, they couldn't hold on for long. Every attack consumed a lot of energy. After a few moves they would be exhausted. As for the 2 demons, they were genuine 9th-layer Divine Emperor realm cultivators. Even if they fought for a few hundred moves, it wouldn't be a problem. This was their disadvantage and also the disadvantage of the great killing weapon. After all, it wasn't their true strength. It was only used at a critical moment to save their lives. It couldn't be used for a long battle. Although it could erupt with terrifying destructive power, it couldn't be used for a long time. They couldn't defeat real cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. Back when they had destroyed the Flying Star Sect, the Patriarch of the Flying Star Sect had been killed because the pavilion leader of the Moon and Clouds Pavilion had helped him. Lu Ming had suddenly released the strength of the 9th Godly Emperor layer and had caught the Patriarch of the Flying Star Sect off guard. Then, the pavilion leader of the Moon and Clouds Pavilion had seized the opportunity and killed the Patriarch of the Flying Star Sect. If Lu Ming were to fight the Sect Master of the Flying Star Sect one-on-one, Lu Ming would definitely die. You guys hold on, I'll set up the formation. Dandan roared. His body kept moving around. Endless runes flew out from his hands, feet, and even his body. They flew into the void and into the ground. The space between his eyebrows sparkled. There was a fluctuation that Lu Ming was familiar with. That was the fluctuation of the origin ancient characters. Dandan was setting up a formation. Alright, leave it to us. You set up the formation with all your might. Lu Ming sent a sound transmission to Dandan. At the same time, another powerful gust of wind rushed out from the Zephyr Pearl and rushed towards the demons in all directions. As for Lu Ming, he controlled the mysterious ice rod with all his might and smashed it towards the 9th Godly Emperor layer demon. Ling Yuwei also used all her strength to activate the Elven King bow that was stained with blood. In the face of such a great battle, Hua Shui couldn't help at all. She could only worry. As for Dandan, he was completely focused on setting up the formation. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming and the expert of the 9th Godly Emperor layer exchanged a few blows. Although he blocked the opponent's attack, Lu Ming's face was still somewhat pale. They had already exchanged 4 or 5 moves. Lu Ming felt that the taboo energy had been severely depleted. If this continued, he wouldn't be able to withstand more than a few moves. On the other side, Ling Yuwei wasn't much better. Although she could hold on for a few more moves, she couldn't hold on for long. I have to hold on. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with determination. He could feel that energy was constantly gushing out from every cell in his body at an extremely fast speed. This was a sign that his potential was being forced out. Potential, when injured, when one's life was in danger, would be forced out. However, when under great pressure, one's potential could also be forced out. For example, right now Lu Ming was under immense pressure. If they didn't stop the other party, they would die. One could imagine how great the pressure was. The potential in his cells continued to emerge and transform into Lu Ming's own strength. Relying on his strong willpower, Lu Ming exchanged 3 more moves with his opponent. Are you done yet? Lu Ming roared at Dandan. Soon, densely packed runes spread out from Dandan's body as he roared. Even as he spoke, he spat out numerous runes from his mouth. Boom. Lu Ming exchanged another move with the fiend of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. This time, Lu Ming's body shook violently. He almost couldn't hold the Ice Shen staff in his hand. The bones in his arm were broken and blood flowed out of his mouth. Lu Ming had consumed a lot of energy. At that moment, even if he controlled the Ice Shen staff, his attack power was at its peak. It was difficult for him to block the enemy's attack. "Little boy, die!" shouted the fiend of the 9th godly emperor layer. He held the fiend's blade in his right hand and used all his strength to slash. His left hand stretched out and a fiend's claw grabbed Lu Ming. Lu Ming used all his strength to control the Ice Shen staff and block the attack. His body shook violently and he coughed up blood. However, Lu Ming didn't manage to dodge the fiend's claw completely. Even though Lu Ming used the great godly wind technique to dodge, he was still swept by the enemy's claw and half of his body exploded. "Muyun!" shouted Ling Yuwei. She was extremely worried. She wanted to save Lu Ming, but at that moment she couldn't protect herself. She was about to run out of strength. "All right." At this moment, Dandan let out an excited roar. Then, countless runes appeared in the sky and turned into a large formation. The deployment spell was dazzling and dazzling. A moment later, the lights turned into golden armored giants. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of golden armored giants appeared. Those golden armored giants appeared out of nowhere and threw themselves at the fiends. The main ones were the 2 fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer. The 2 fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer were interrupted. "Piss off!" shouted the fiend of the 9th godly emperor layer who was fighting against Lu Ming. He raised his fiend's blade and looked at the golden armored giants. Slash, slash, slash. The fiend's blade landed on the golden armored giants and made ear-piercing sounds. Surprisingly, it didn't pierce through the golden armored giants. The golden armored giants were sent flying away, leaving marks on their bodies. After the golden armored giants were sent flying, more and more of them threw themselves at the fiends. Even though the golden armored giants didn't have much offensive power, their defensive power was astonishing. They managed to block all the fiends' attacks. On top of that, the hundreds of golden armored giants formed a thick and heavy metal wall, blocking all the fiends. However, the golden armored giants wouldn't attack Lu Ming and the others. There are no advertisements on the website. Chapter 4002. "Let's go, this formation won't be able to hold them off for long," Dandan shouted. Without Dandan's shout, Lu Ming, Ling Yuwei and the others knew what to do. The 4 of them turned into 4 streams of light and flew into the distance. "Damn it, kill! Get out of my way!" Those demon experts roared and attacked the golden armored giants with all their strength. Finally, some of the golden armored giants couldn't withstand the attack and were blown apart by the 2 9th layer divine emperor realm experts. However, when these golden armored giants exploded, other golden armored giants rushed up. By the time they exploded, a large number of golden armored giants and rushed out, Lu Ming and the other 3 had already disappeared. These demon experts had ugly expressions on their faces. They definitely can't go far. Spread the news and let the surrounding 9th layer divine emperor realm experts surround them with all their strength. We absolutely can't let go of the peerless genius of the chaotic universe. In addition, send the news to the prince. I believe the prince will definitely be interested. A 9th layer divine emperor realm demon expert issued an order. Lu Ming and the other 3 ran with all their strength. After running for an hour, they finally stopped when they were sure that they had completely shaken off the demon experts. "Muyun, are you alright?" Ling Yuwei looked at Lu Ming worriedly. At this moment, Lu Ming looked very miserable. Half of his body had exploded. His bones and internal organs were exposed. It was very horrifying. "Don't worry, I'm fine." Lu Ming smiled. His cells were constantly surging with power. His injuries were recovering at an astonishing speed. One could clearly see that his bones were automatically reconnecting. His wounds were quickly healing, and his spirit had become vigorous. TSK, this vitality, kid, you are an unkillable cockroach. No, you are even stronger than a cockroach. Dandan looked at Lu Ming and clicked his tongue in wonder. His eyes were full of shock. "You are the cockroach," Lu Ming said unhappily, but in his heart he was also a little surprised. Dandan, this guy, had not seen him for a while and his strength had soared a lot. Surprisingly, the deployment spell had been able to block the attack of a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. Although those golden armored giants did not have much offensive power, and Dandan had spent some time setting up the formation, it was still shocking enough. Lu Ming guessed that it had something to do with the Dandan's origin ancient character. Which origin ancient character did Dandan get? It's clearly related to runic arrays. Could it be the word, array? Lu Ming pondered. He had once heard from the quantifying character manual that the origin ancient word formation was very mysterious. Once one mastered the origin ancient word formation, they could comprehend endless runes and formations from the word formation. When one cultivated to a high level, any formation would be at their fingertips. They could even set up a great killing formation that could destroy the heavens and the earth. It was incomparably terrifying. If Dandan had the origin ancient word formation, with the strength of the second godly emperor layer, it wouldn't be strange for him to be able to set up such a powerful formation. The four of them rested there for a few hours. After a few hours, Lu Ming's injuries had healed. Lu Ming also realized that his cultivation level had increased, and he was about to break through to the second godly emperor layer. My cells have at least 80% of their potential left. It's enough for a while, thought Lu Ming. His current 80% was on a completely different level from the 80% he had before. After breaking through to the godly emperor layer, the potential in his cells had increased tremendously. When Lu Ming had broken through to the godly emperor layer, he had absorbed 100 spiritual wood hearts and his potential had reached 100%. Previously, when Lu Ming was in the Yunue Pavilion, he took some time to absorb the spirit wood hearts. He had absorbed a total of 3,000 spirit wood hearts before his cells were filled to the brim with potential. 3,000 spiritual wood hearts was 30 times more than before. Now Lu Ming's potential was astonishing. As long as he continued to stimulate it, his cultivation level would continue to increase. Half a day later, Lu Ming and the other three had recovered to their peak state and were discussing their next plan. There shouldn't be so many demon experts in an ordinary tribe, but so many demon experts have appeared. Could it be that the 8-snake demon kingdom has made a move? Lu Ming asked. It's very likely because it's very difficult for an ordinary demon tribe to dispatch so many experts at once. It's very likely that the 8-snake demon kingdom has made a move, Ling Yue said. Everyone's expression turned serious. If it was the 8-snake demon kingdom, they would have to be careful. If it's the 8-snake demon kingdom, then those tribes will most likely become a trap. Next, we can only look for lone demons to kill, Lu Ming said. Leave it to me, I'll use the formation to investigate again. Dandan was about to make a move and set up a formation to investigate, but at this time the faces of Lu Ming and the others changed. Because, from the right side, there was a violent sound of breaking through the air. There were strong cultivators approaching and they were extremely fast. Not good, it's a demon, let's go. Lu Ming's expression was ugly as he shouted. Because, from the right side, a few demons had appeared. Those demons' chi was extremely terrifying. There were 5 demons in total. 3 of them had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer, and the other 2 had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer. Ling Yue, Dandan and the others also noticed the demon experts. Without thinking, they turned into streaks of light and rushed to the left. It's those little brats, don't even think about leaving, shouted those demons. They chased after Lu Ming and the others extremely quickly. Especially the 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Their speed was even more astonishing. They were quickly closing the distance between them and Lu Ming and the others. However, the distance between them was at least tens of thousands of li. They were too far away. The demons of the 9th godly emperor layer didn't attack because they were too far away. If they attacked, their power wouldn't be too great. They had to close the distance between them before attacking. However, all of a sudden, numerous runes and symbols appeared before them. Those runes and symbols turned into numerous spirit formations. Then they condensed into numerous chains that wrapped around them. As it turned out, Dandan had already set up a formation in the air while she was flying. A trifling deployment spell wants to stop me? Break. Open. Shouted the demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. They raised their claws and tore the chains apart. Not only that, but the deployment spell also broke apart. After all, Dandan had set it up temporarily, so its power was limited. Of course, it couldn't stop 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. But it wasn't completely useless. Their speed was still affected a little and they slowed down a little. Just this tiny bit was enough. It was difficult for them to catch up with Lu Ming and the others. Fuck! Shouted the 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer furiously. They used all their strength to attack, but more and more deployment spells appeared in the air. None of the deployment spells could stop them, but they could slow them down a little bit. Because of that, the distance between Lu Ming and the demons was at least tens of thousands of li. Chapter 4003. Lu Ming and the others were flying while Dandan was setting up a deployment spell. Even though the deployment spell had been set up temporarily, it could still block the fiends for a while. Even though it was only for a while, it was enough for Lu Ming and the others to escape. Every time the distance between the 2 sides narrowed, the fiends would be blocked by the deployment spell. Then the distance between the 2 sides increased again, maintaining a distance of tens of thousands of li. Bastard. The fiends were furious. They were holding fiend blades in one hand and fiend claws in the other. Each time they attacked, the space collapsed. They destroyed Dandan's deployment spell, but in the end they couldn't catch up with Lu Ming and the others. In the blink of an eye, they were hundreds of thousands of li away from each other. Suddenly, Lu Ming and the others who were running away were astonished. They sensed a powerful qi in front of them. At the same time, they sensed a dense demon qi. More fiends appeared in front of them. There were at least a dozen fiends in that group. 2 of them had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Those fiends noticed Lu Ming and the others and charged at Lu Ming and the others. There were fiends in front and behind them, so they could only run to the right. Die. The 2 groups of fiends chased after Lu Ming and the others. There were 5 fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer and 20 fiends of the 8th godly emperor layer. They were terrifyingly strong. So many fiends were attacking together. Dandan's deployment spell was even weaker. Therefore, the distance between the 2 sides was getting closer. Lu Ming and the other 3 looked grave. If this went on, things would be bad. If they were overtaken, they would not be able to fend off the 5 experts of the 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm. The 2 sides flew for another 100,000 li. The distance between the 2 sides was now less than 10,000 li. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A few fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer attacked. They slashed out with their fiend blades, which streaked across the sky. In a flash, they crossed 10,000 li and attacked Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. Ling Yuwei was about to use her royal elf bow to block. Don't use your trump cards yet. Save your energy. I'll deal with it, Lu Ming said to Ling Yuwei. Then he took out the Gale Pearl and continuously drew out the power within it. Hoo-hoo, the gale within the Gale Pearl continued to rush out, forming a wall of wind behind them. The demon's saber light slashed at the wind wall. Both sides exploded with a violent roar. In the end, the wind wall was forcibly broken. However, as both parties were separated by a distance of nearly 10,000 miles, the attacking power of the other party's saber gleam was not at its peak and had been greatly weakened. Although it had broken through the wind wall, its power had also dissipated. The remaining power was easily blocked by Lu Ming and the rest. Humph, let's see how many moves you can block. Continue attacking. The 5 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer grunted icily and kept attacking. The saber light cut through the air, and the demonic claw tore through the void, pressing down on Lu Ming and the others. However, Lu Ming continued to draw the power within the Gale Pearl to block the attacks of the demon rankers. However, as the distance between the 2 sides shortened, it became more and more difficult for the Gale Pearl to block the other side's attacks. There was always a saber light that broke through the Gale wall and smashed towards Lu Ming and the others. The situation was becoming more and more disadvantageous for Lu Ming and the others. At this moment, the eyes of Lu Ming and the others moved, because another group of creatures had appeared in front of them. But this time it wasn't a demon but an angel. A group of angels, and most of them were acquaintances of Lu Ming and the others. They were precisely the group of angels that had besieged Ling Yuwei earlier. Of course, there were more people here. There were more than 20 of them. It was obvious that 2 groups of angels had gathered together. When these angels saw Lu Ming and the others, their eyes immediately burst with killing intent. It's Ling Yuwei and that Mu Yun. We've met them again. This time don't let them escape. Attack with all your might. These angels' killing intent surged and they were about to charge towards Lu Ming and the others, but they were immediately stunned, because they discovered that after Lu Ming and the other 3 saw them, not only did they not escape, they even rushed towards them. What was going on? Seeing that they didn't leave, they even rushed towards them. Wasn't this courting death? But immediately their expressions changed. This was because they had also discovered the demon rankers chasing after them. They finally knew why Lu Ming and the others were rushing towards them. It was because Lu Ming and the others were being chased by the demon army, and they were using them as shields. Damn it. Let's go. An angel roared and all the angels turned around and left. They could naturally feel how terrifying the demons behind them were. There were a total of 5 demon kings of the 9th layer of the God Emperor realm. Although they had the strength of the 9th layer of the God Emperor realm, they were definitely not a match for these demons. How could they care about killing Lu Ming and the others? Brothers from the angel clan, why are you running away? Stop. Let's destroy these damn demons together, shouted Lu Ming. He quickly chased after the angels. Who's your brother? We're your enemies. Damn it. Hurry up and piss off, shouted many angels furiously. But Lu Ming and the others had finally found some demons as shields. How could they leave so easily? Only by dragging the angels down with them would they have a chance to escape. The three groups of people were running at full speed. Lu Ming and the others were only a few thousand li away from the angels. Die. Some of the stronger angels attacked Lu Ming and the others furiously. Many angel divine swords slashed towards Lu Ming and the others, but Lu Ming and the others blocked them. Dandan, don't pay attention to the demons behind us. Go ahead and block the angels. Drag them down with you, said Lu Ming to Dandan. However, Dandan's eyes shone brightly. How do you know my name? Who are you? Dandan stared at Lu Ming. Nestle. Lu Ming scolded himself. He had let it slip out of his mouth in a moment of desperation. He was the one who came up with the name Dandan. Not many people would call him by that name. Dandan must be suspicious. But now was not the time to explain. I'll explain to you when we escape. Hurry up and attack. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Dandan. Hee hee. Dandan gave a few sinister laughs and cast a few meaningful glances at Lu Ming. Then, countless runes emanated from its body, surging into the void and disappearing. The three groups of people fought a battle of wits and courage. In the blink of an eye they had flown thousands of li away. Block them. At this moment, Dandan shouted and formed a seal with both hands. Suddenly, a large array appeared in front of the angels. This formation condensed countless shining golden sabers and slashed at the angels' faces. Chapter 4004. Dandan condensed a gigantic spell in front of him and slashed at the angels. The angels could only do their best to resist. Naturally, their speed was greatly affected. With such a delay, a few thousand li was covered by Lu Ming and the others in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming and the others caught up with the angels. Because they didn't deliberately stop the demons, the distance between them and the demons was shortened rapidly. There were only a few thousand li left. A few thousand miles was simply too close for them. Their attack power could also be unleashed to its peak. Die, all of you. Die. The 5 demons of the 9th godly emperor realm were the first to attack. 5 rays of light shot out from the devil's saber, aiming at Lu Ming and the angels. The demons didn't care whether Lu Ming had any enmity with the angels or not. To the demons, as long as it was a creature from the ancient desolate universe, it deserved to die. Because the creatures from the ancient desolate universe had come here to kill demons. Besides, demons hated the angels even more. Because the angels and the heavenly palace were very close, the angels had contributed a lot to the extermination of the demons. Their enmity with the demons was also great. A few thousand li away, the demons of the 9th godly emperor layer were extremely terrifying. Lu Ming took out the mysterious ice rod. He had no choice. At this distance, the Zephyr Pearl couldn't block the attacks of the demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Only the mysterious ice rod could do it. Boom. The mysterious ice rod swept out and blocked the demon's blade. At the same time, Ling Yue also took out her bloodied elven royal bow and shot an arrow to block the demon's blade. Among the angels, the 2 10-winged angels who had surrounded Ling Yue before had no choice but to use their ultimate weapons. One of them took out an angel sword, the other a basic angel crown to block the demon's blade. There was another angel who didn't use his ultimate weapon because he was an 8-winged angel. He didn't control any ultimate weapon, but his cultivation level was extremely high. He had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer. An 8-winged angel of the 7th godly emperor layer could easily compete with a demon of the 9th godly emperor layer. The man slashed out with his sword, blocking a demonic saber light. The attacks of the 5 fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer were all blocked. However, with this, the distance between the two sides would be even closer. A large number of demons rushed over. Those who had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer also attacked. 20 demons of the 8th godly emperor layer attacked. Their attacks were terrifying. They surrounded Lu Ming and the angels. Like this, Lu Ming's group as well as the angels couldn't leave even if they wanted to. They were blocked by the demons. A fierce battle broke out between the two sides. Kill. The 5 9th level god emperor demons were extremely powerful. They charged toward Lu Ming and the angels. Damn it! Damn it! The angels roared angrily. They were so aggrieved that they wanted to die. They didn't expect that not only would they fail to deal with Lu Ming's group, but they would also be dragged down by Lu Ming's group. They were furious, but there was nothing they could do. At that moment, in order to protect themselves, they could only do their best to resist. Lu Ming, Ling Yue, the 2 10-winged angels, and the 8-winged angel who had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer. The 5 of them could temporarily release the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. They blocked the 5 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Dandan, Hua Shui, and the other angels were fighting against the demons. With Hua Shui's cultivation level, It was very dangerous in such a battle, but luckily, Dandan was there to help her. These talismans are for you. Dandan took out a talisman and put it on Hua Shue's body. Hua Shue's body was covered with talismans, and her strength and speed increased. That was the only way she could protect herself. As for Dandan, talismans appeared all over his body. He looked like the incarnation of talismans. He kept flickering and the demons couldn't touch him for a while. However, the angels weren't so lucky. Among the angels there were strong and weak ones. Some of the stronger ones were barely able to protect themselves. Some of the weaker ones were directly killed by the demons, and their blood scattered in the air. For a moment at least 7 or 8 of my angels were killed. This made the angels even angrier. However, even if they pulled the angels into the water, they were still at a disadvantage. They weren't a match for them. Lu Ming's expression was grave. If this continued, it would be disadvantageous for them. This was because he, Ling Yue, and the 2 10-winged angels of the angel clan could release the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer for a short period of time, but they couldn't hold on for too long. Continuing the battle was very disadvantageous for them. Lu Ming thought of this, and the angels naturally thought of this as well. Yan Ford and the others are nearby. Quickly send a message to them and tell them to hurry over and support us. A 10-winged angel roared and used his full strength to block a few demons, giving one of the angels a chance to send a message. That angel seized the opportunity and sent out a message. Dandan, I'll rely on you to escape later. Lu Ming transmitted to Dandan. Don't worry, I've already started preparing. Do I need you to mention it? Replied Dandan. He was constantly setting up a formation. Boom. Lu Ming's taboo force kept pouring into the Bingxian rod. The Bingxian rod erupted with terrifying power. Terrifying cold currents kept gushing out, freezing the void. The surrounding demons did not dare to get close to it. Lu Ming used the mysterious ice rod to exchange a few blows with a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. However, Lu Ming sensed that a lot of forbidden strength had been consumed. At most he could use about 5 more moves. Little boy, with the strength of the 1st godly emperor layer, you can forcibly use the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Let's see how many moves you can use. Demon Claw. The demon of the 9th godly emperor layer looked ferocious. He stretched out his sharp claws, which were as big as a small mountain, towards Lu Ming. He wanted to kill Lu Ming in one strike. Lu Ming held the piercing ice mystic rod and lashed it out horizontally, shattering the void and colliding with the devil's claws. Another explosion spread in the air. A demon of the 7th godly emperor layer didn't have time to dodge and was frozen. Then the chi behind him smashed his body into pieces. The other demons were scared and didn't dare get close to the battle between Lu Ming and the demon of the 9th godly emperor layer. In fact, when the other cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer fought, the demons and angels didn't dare get close. The two sides exchanged a few more attacks. The situation was getting worse for Lu Ming and the angels. Dandan, are you done? Lu Ming asked Dandan telepathically. Almost. Wait a little longer. Replied Dandan. He continued setting up the formation. At that moment, in the distance, the sound of whistling wind could be heard. Holy lights illuminated the sky. The angels had arrived. Chapter 4005. Another group of angel tribe members had arrived. There were more than a dozen angels in this group, and there were many experts among them. Among them, there were 2 who had the battle strength of the 9th level of the Divine Emperor realm. As expected of the top 10 races, there were too many geniuses, and the number of people participating in the Heavenly Soldier examination was also very high. Haha, the helpers are here. The angels were overjoyed. With the addition of this group of fresh troops, they were saved. Quick, help us block these demons and help us charge out. The male 10-winged angel sent a sound transmission to the angels. They had no intention of tangling with the demons. They planned to rush out first and leave Lu Ming and the others here to wait for death. You dare to plot against us? I will make you die miserably and become food for the demons. These angels thought fiercely in their hearts. But immediately their expressions changed. This was because a dense demonic aura was coming from another direction. Over there, another group of demons was charging over. Obviously, the battle here had alarmed the surrounding demons. Damn it. These angels were shocked. Quick, come and help us rush out. The male angel roared. At this moment, all right. Dandan called out. Suddenly, endless runes spread out, and an array appeared beneath Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and Hua Shue's feet. The moment this array appeared, it was like a piece of clothing that stuck to their bodies. Then one figure after another appeared around them. For example, dozens of Lu Ming suddenly appeared around Lu Ming. They looked exactly the same as Lu Ming, and even their auras were exactly the same. Dozens of Lu Ming suddenly appeared at the scene. Ling Yue, Hua Shui, and Dandan were the same. Dozens of figures also appeared around them. Swish, swish, swish. In the next moment, dozens of figures rushed out in all directions. Those demons were all dumbfounded. This was because the dozens of figures seemed to be real. Even their auras seemed to be real. It was impossible to tell whether they were real or fake. Kill. Kill, kill, kill. These abyss devils could only attack randomly. One figure after another was defeated by their attacks. However, among the several tens of silhouettes, there were always some that managed to rush out. As soon as these figures rushed out, they fled in all directions. Damn it! Hurry up and chase after those brats. Leave these angels to us, said a demon of the 9th godly emperor layer to the demons behind him. The abyss devils that came later scattered and chased after Lu Ming and the others. As for the demons from before, they attacked the angels with all their might. The demons had 5 cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer, and now they were all fighting against the angels. The angels were under even more pressure. Fortunately, the angels had new reinforcements. Even so, for the time being, they could only barely protect themselves. Their plan to rush out was ruined. They were so angry that they nearly vomited blood on the spot. Their original plan was to rush out and leave Lu Ming and the others behind. But now the situation was the complete opposite. They were the ones who were left behind. The ones who rushed out were Lu Ming and the others. It could only be said that reality was very cruel. They could only fight back with all their might. Lu Ming and the others didn't care about that. After they rushed out of the encirclement, their real bodies gathered together and flew in the same direction. The demons that came later also had many strong cultivators. There were 3 cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. There were 15 of them of the 8th godly emperor layer, and almost 100 of them below the 8th godly emperor layer. There were so many of them that they quickly got rid of the fake bodies. Then they chased after Lu Ming and the others' real bodies. There's no end to this. Lu Ming and Ling Yue's expressions were very ugly. It was obvious that the army of the 8 Snakes Demon Kingdom had been mobilized. There were many strong demons in this area. It wouldn't be easy to escape. Unfortunately, my cultivation level is still too low. If I could become stronger and break through to the 2nd godly emperor layer, I wouldn't need to fear these demons, thought Lu Ming. Even though he was under great pressure, breaking through to the 2nd godly emperor layer wasn't going to be easy. Both sides started a chase again. It was just that the demons behind them had changed. You guys go first. I'll stay and stop them, Lu Ming suddenly said. He planned to stay and fight with these demons to see if he could take the opportunity to break through to the 2nd godly emperor layer. But doing so was very dangerous. If he couldn't break through, he might stay here forever. But if he didn't do this, he would never be able to shake off the demons. If he was caught, it would be equally dangerous. I'll stay too, Ling Yue said. If you want to stay and fight, then I'll stay and accompany you. Dandan's gaze turned as he said. I'll stay too, Hua Shui also said. Hua Shui, you go first. Wait for us in front. Ling Yue shook her head. That's right, Hua Shui, you go first. Lu Ming also said. To be honest, with Hua Shui here, they couldn't use it. Instead, they had to take care of her. Hua Shui gritted her teeth and clenched her fists tightly. However, she knew very well in her heart that amongst the 4 of them, she was the weakest. If she stayed here, she would indeed be in the way. It would be even more disadvantageous for Lu Ming and Ling Yue. In her heart, she hated herself for being too weak. Her cultivation was clearly the highest, but her strength was the weakest. She even needed others to take care of her. Hua Shui, hurry up and leave. This is an order, Ling Yue said. Alright, then you guys be careful. I'll inform the rest of the elves. You guys must live. Hua Shui gritted her teeth and continued to fly forward. As for Lu Ming and the other 2, they stopped and turned to face the demons that were chasing after them. Dandan, you should still have some trump cards, right? Use them all, Lu Ming said to Dandan. Lu Ming knew this guy too well. If he didn't have the slightest bit of confidence, would he have taken the initiative to stay? He as expected, it's you. You know me best. Dandan chuckled and glared at Lu Ming. Obviously, he had already guessed Lu Ming's identity. Following that, 2 bright red talismans appeared in Dandan's hands. I spent a lot of effort to obtain these 2 talismans and their one-time use, Dandan said with a pained expression. I'll give it to you now. If you use it on your divine armament, it will allow your divine armament to awaken a portion of its power. There's such a good thing. Lu Ming and Ling Yue's eyes lit up. Be it the Ice Mystic Rod or the blood-stained Elven King Bao in Ling Yue's hands, They were all extremely high-level treasures. Their powers were far more than that. They were only in hiding and needed Lu Ming and the rest to activate them. However, with Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei's cultivation, they could only unleash a small portion of their power. Most of their power was hidden. As for these two runes, they could unleash a trace of power. They could definitely increase the power of the great killing weapon by a lot. Chapter 4006. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei didn't hesitate and put the talisman on their weapons. As soon as the seal was placed on the divine weapon, it melted like ice and turned into a ball of seal, covering the divine weapon. In a flash, Lu Ming sensed some strength emerge from the depths of the Ice Shen staff. The Ice Shen staff was really releasing some strength. At the same time, Ling Yuwei's royal bow was the same. On the side, Dandan looked pained because the talisman was a one-time use item. If he sold it, it would be priceless. But it was gone just like that. He quickly calculated in his heart how he would get back the losses from Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. At that moment, the fiends were approaching. Die! Die, die, die! Shouted the fiends, especially the three leaders of the 9th godly emperor layer. They attacked one after another. 3 fiend blades streaked across the sky towards Lu Ming and the others. Bzzz. Lu Ming's Ice Shen staff shook violently. Lu Ming's forbidden strength kept pouring into the Ice Shen staff. The Ice Shen staff quickly became bigger and bigger. But Ling Yuwei's attack was even faster than his. An arrow pierced through the sky and shot towards one of the fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer. The arrow and the fiend's fiend blade collided. An explosion shook the sky and the fiend's blade shook violently. The fiend's arm shook violently and blood appeared on it. He was shaken violently and moved back 1,000 li. The 2 fiends of the 8th godly emperor layer coughed up blood. Ling Yuwei's arrow had injured a cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. It really worked. Ling Yuwei was overjoyed. As expected, the royal bow with blood on it released some strength. In addition to her own strength, her attack power had already surpassed ordinary fiends of the 9th godly emperor layer. At that moment, Lu Ming's attack arrived. The gigantic Shen ice rod collided with the 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. The 2 demons' blade lights broke apart, and they were both pushed back. Lu Ming was overjoyed that he had defeated 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer in one move. Do it in one go. Lu Ming sent a sound transmission to Ling Yuwei, then pounced forward. The ice profound rod continuously smashed out, and 3 rod shadows crushed the void, pressing towards the demon rancor. Under the mysterious ice staff, the void kept exploding and a terrifying chill spread out. The mysterious ice staff had not yet landed, but a terrifying chill had already enveloped the area. Some of the weaker demons were immediately covered by a layer of ice. Those who had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer and below were frozen to death. Retreat, retreat. Some demons of the 8th and 7th godly emperor layer shouted furiously and tried to block the ice. The 3 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer shouted furiously and released demon chi. They used all their strength to attack. 3 huge saber glows broke through the icy intent and landed on the mysterious ice rod. Boom, boom, boom. There were 3 explosions. Lu Ming's body shook violently and he couldn't help but move back. The mysterious ice rod kept shaking. However, the 3 demons weren't any better. Even though they had defeated Lu Ming, they had also moved back a few steps. And that was only Lu Ming's attack. When Lu Ming attacked, Ling Yuwei also attacked. Her arrow was aimed at one of the cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. When the demon and Lu Ming exchanged blows, a terrifying arrow shot towards the demon. It matched perfectly with Lu Ming's attack. As soon as the demon retreated, Ling Yuwei's arrow arrived. The demon roared furiously and did his best to block. However, he had just exchanged blows with Lu Ming. His chi was unstable and he couldn't use his full strength to block the attack. He could only use 50% of his strength. 50% of his strength couldn't block Ling Yuwei's arrow. Bang, bang. A series of explosions rang out. The arrow broke through the demon's layers of defense and pierced through his chest. The demon screamed miserably as a hole appeared in his chest. However, he wasn't dead yet, but he was severely injured. All right. Lu Ming and Dandan were overjoyed. Their plan was useful. Continue. Lu Ming spoke, activating the Bingshen rod and striking out again. He had to hurry because the runes given by Dandan wouldn't take too long. Boom. The mysterious ice rod turned into a few shadows and smashed down again. Block it. Damn it, block it. The remaining 2 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer roared and attacked with all their might. The other demons of the 8th and 7th godly emperor layer also attacked together. As for the heavily injured ninth godly emperor layer demon, he hid behind and didn't dare to attack. He was afraid that Ling Yuwei would shoot him to death. There was another series of explosions. Lu Ming's mysterious ice rod was blocked. However, Ling Yuwei seized the opportunity and shot another arrow. This arrow was aimed at another demon of the ninth godly emperor layer. After blocking Lu Ming's attack, the ninth stage god emperor realm demon was also unable to block Ling Yuwei's attack. An arrow pierced through his body and he was severely injured. It had to be said that the vitality of demons was very strong, especially those of the ninth godly emperor layer. Ling Yuwei's arrow was very terrifying. A destructive energy exploded from the inside. However, their injuries were also very serious. Let's go. The remaining demons were terrified. The only one who wasn't injured, the ninth godly emperor layer demon, roared and turned around to leave. They knew that they couldn't deal with Lu Ming and the others. If they continued fighting, they would be in danger. They had to leave first, meet up with the other demons, and then chase after Lu Ming and the others. You still want to leave? Lu Ming's eyes were cold. He used the Great Divine Wind technique and his body flickered, attacking the demons. Lu Ming wouldn't miss the spirit blood of these demons. Now that there was such a good opportunity, Lu Ming wouldn't let it go so easily. At the same time, the mysterious ice rod turned into 3 shadows and smashed down. The 3 stick shadows were still able to maintain an extremely strong attacking power. If there were more stick shadows, the attacking power would decrease. Rumble. The sky and earth shook violently. The mysterious ice rod pressed down with unparalleled force. Work together, roared a ninth godly emperor layer demon. All the demons gathered together and went all out. Dozens of demons' demonic chi condensed and turned into a shocking sword light. It violently slashed out, blocking the mysterious ice rod. However, Ling Yuwei attacked again. An arrow shot towards the last demon of the ninth godly emperor layer who wasn't injured. But that demon was very cunning. When he blocked Lu Ming's attack, his silhouette flickered and he retreated behind the other demons. Ling Yuwei's arrows pierced through 3 fiends of the 8th godly emperor layer and killed them, but the fiend of the 9th godly emperor layer dodged them. Then he flapped his wings and abandoned the other demons to escape alone. Chapter 4007. That uninjured demon of the 9th godly emperor layer had abandoned the other demons and escaped on his own. He was extremely fast. In just a few flashes he had already covered a distance. But at that moment, a young man appeared in front of him. If it had been someone from the 8 Snake Demon Kingdom who had participated in the meeting of the princes of the 8 Snake Demon Kingdom, they would have recognized that young man immediately. At that moment, Samo Luo had turned into a human. Even his demon chi was concealed. He looked like a human. The cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer had seen Samo Luo before, but he had never seen Samo Luo in human form. Therefore he didn't recognize Samo Luo. When he saw Samo Luo, he thought Samo Luo was from the desolate universe. Immediately, the demon of the 9th godly emperor layer shouted furiously, "Little boy, piss off." At the same time he grabbed Samo Luo with his claws. Samo Luo's eyes glittered coldly. He threw a punch at the demon's claws. Boom. Strong chi spread everywhere. The demon of the 9th godly emperor layer's expression changed drastically. His claws made cracking sounds and his bones broke. He was pushed back. At that moment Ling Yuwei attacked again. She shot an arrow at the demon. This time he couldn't dodge it. The arrow pierced through his body and he was severely injured. Swish. Samo Luo's silhouette flickered. He threw himself at the demon. His claws were like steel nails. They pierced through the demon's head. The demon died on the spot. On the other side, Lu Ming was holding the Shen Ice staff. Nobody could stop him. His staff slammed into the demons one after another. Even a demon of the 9th godly emperor layer who had been severely injured died at Lu Ming's hands. When Samo Luo saw that, his eyes glittered with murder. He also threw himself at the demons. His claws were like rainbows. Each time he attacked, a demon was killed. The 3rd demon who had been severely injured also died at Samo Luo's hands. Lu Ming and the other 2 surrounded the demons. The remaining demons weren't a match for them. In the blink of an eye, most of them were killed. The remaining ones wanted to escape, but Samo Luo chased after them and killed them all. Phew. Lu Ming took a deep breath. The danger was finally over. Lu Ming, Ling Yuwei and Dandan walked towards Samoros. "Brother, thank you for your help." Lu Ming and the others cupped their fists in gratitude. "There's no need to stand on ceremony. We're all from the primitive universe, so it's only natural for us to fight against the demons," said Samo Luo smiling. He glanced at Lu Ming and the others and said, "You're really strong. You only have the strength of the second godly emperor layer. Surprisingly, you defeated such a strong group of evil demons. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would have never believed it. What Samora said was true. He had already arrived while they were fighting with the demons, hiding in the dark to observe. He discovered that Lu Ming and Ling Yue's attack power was simply astonishing, causing him to be shocked. Therefore he originally wanted to take action to deal with Lu Ming and the others, but he changed his mind at the last moment and took action to deal with the defeated demons. Dealing with those demons was to gain the trust of Lu Ming and the others. As long as he could gain the trust of Lu Ming and the others, it would be much easier to deal with Lu Ming and the others. Brother, you're too polite. It's just luck. Lu Ming said simply out of politeness. I am Lu Feng. How should I address you? Samoro said. Don't you know us? Lu Ming's eyes flashed as he felt a little puzzled. It was normal for them to not know him and Dandan, but it was rare for them to not know Ling Yue. After all, they could see Ling Yue's portrait through the dream jade. However, Lu Ming only had a trace of doubt in his eyes, and did not pay too much attention to it. After all, the great desolate universe was too big and there were countless geniuses. It was normal for some people to not care about the outside world and focus on cultivation. Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and Dandan reported their names. Why don't the three of you work together? How about we hunt demons together? Samoro said. Lu Ming and the other two were moved. Samoro's attack just now was very powerful. They could see that although Samoro's cultivation was only at the 6th layer of the Divine Emperor realm, his battle prowess was astonishingly strong. Previously, when he had fought head-on with the 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm, he had actually injured the 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm in one move. This was his own true battle prowess, and he did not rely on external objects. If Samoro's joined them and cooperated with them, then even if they encountered demons in the future, they would be able to relax a lot. Lu Ming, you have to be careful of this Lu Feng. I feel that there's something wrong with him. At this time, Bone Demon reminded him. No, what's wrong? Lu Ming asked. I can feel a trace of demonic chi from his body. Although he hid it very well, there was still a trace of it leaked out. You can't feel it, but you can't hide it from my senses. Bone Demon said. Hidden demonic chi? Could it be that he carried some kind of treasure with him that had demonic chi? Or perhaps he cultivates some kind of cultivation technique that can absorb demonic chi? Lu Ming said to Bone Demon as thoughts flashed through his mind. I don't know about that. Just be careful. Bone Demon said. Lu Ming nodded silently in his heart, but he did not suspect that Samoro's was a demon. After all, in the great desolate universe, there were some treasures that contained demonic chi, or some strange mysterious techniques that could absorb and refine demonic chi. However, he still raised his vigilance and paid attention to Samoro's. Alright, with Brother Lu joining us, it will definitely be easier for us to deal with the demons. Ling Yue nodded and smiled. Lu Ming and Dandan did not object. Then let's go meet up with Hua Shui first. Ling Yue said. Immediately, they flew in the direction Hua Shui had left. On the way, Samoro's gaze would occasionally sweep across the ice-profound rod in Lu Ming's hands and the Elven King's bow in Ling Yue's hands. The reason why he hadn't made a move yet was because he was afraid of Lu Ming and Ling Yue's two divine weapons. After all, he had clearly seen the power of the two divine weapons just now. Yes, Lu Ming and Ling Yue had yet to put away their two divine weapons. It wasn't that they didn't want to put them away, but that they couldn't put them away yet. This was because the runes on them had yet to disappear. The rune that Dandan had given him had a time limit. Before the time was up, it wouldn't disappear. If the rune didn't disappear, Lu Ming and the others wouldn't be able to put away their divine weapons. However, if he didn't activate it in his hand, it wouldn't consume any energy, so it wouldn't be a problem. As Lu Ming and Ling Yue flew, they recovered the energy they had expended earlier. Not long after, they found Hua Shui anxiously waiting in front of them. Seeing that Lu Ming and the others were fine, Hua Shui was overjoyed. Princess, I've already sent a message to the rest of the elves. However, they're quite far away from us. I'm afraid it won't be easy for them to come and meet us. Hua Shui said. Chapter 4008. Ling Yue nodded and said, It's fine. We'll just wander around the 8 Snake Mountain Range. We won't go deep into the 8 Snake Mountain Range. We should be able to handle it if we're a bit more vigilant. They had the spirit blood of 3 9th layer Divine Emperor Realm demons, as well as more than 10 8th layer Divine Emperor Realm and dozens of 7th layer Divine Emperor Realm demons. This should be enough for them to pass the examination. Next, they just needed to be careful and hunt more demons to obtain more merit points. If the situation wasn't right, they wouldn't force it. Everyone left and headed in another direction. A moment later, the runes on the ice-profound rod and the elven royal bow finally faded and slowly disappeared. The rune power that Dandan had given him had finally disappeared. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei kept the two divine weapons into their sea of consciousness. At this moment, a sharp glint flashed across Samoro's eyes. "Brother Mu," Samoro called out to Lu Ming and approached Lu Ming. "What is it?" Lu Ming had just asked. Suddenly Samoro made his move. His sharp claws grabbed towards the top of Lu Ming's head. The strength chi whistled with terrifying might. Space constantly exploded in Samoro's hands. At such a close distance, it would be difficult for an ordinary person to avoid it. However, because Lu Ming had always maintained a trace of vigilance towards Samoro, the moment Samoro made his move, Lu Ming reacted and raised his hand to block Samoro's sharp claws. However, the power of Samoro's claws was extremely shocking. Even though Lu Ming had used his full strength at the critical moment, he was still unable to block Samoro's attack. Lu Ming's palm directly exploded. Seeing that Lu Ming was actually able to block his sudden attack, Samoro's gaze turned cold. His other hand slapped out, hitting Lu Ming's chest. Boom. Lu Ming's chest was directly pierced through, and a hole that went through his front and back appeared. It was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming's body also retreated explosively, breaking more than 10 big trees. Ling Yuwei, Dandan, and Hua Shui all widened their eyes in shock. "Retreat!" Lu Ming roared. Ling Yuwei, Dandan, and Hua Shui instinctively retreated, pulling away from Samoro's. "I didn't expect you to be so vigilant against me. I have to say you're too careful." Samoro's looked at Lu Ming in surprise. He did not expect his sudden attack to fail to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming spat out several mouthfuls of blood. His injuries were very serious. Destructive energy was constantly attacking his body. If it was an ordinary person, they definitely wouldn't have survived. However, each of Lu Ming's cells could exist independently. As long as all of his cells were not destroyed at once, he could recover as long as there was enough energy stored in his cells. "Lu Feng, why did you attack Mu Yun?" Ling Yuwei shouted loudly. The Elven King's bow, which was stained with blood, appeared in her hand and was aimed at Samoro. "Do you want to monopolize the evil demon spirit blood?" Dandan shouted. "Haha, do you think I want your evil demon spirit blood? Let me tell you the truth, I want your lives." Samoro chuckled, looking as if he had the pearl of wisdom in his hands. Indeed, he was completely confident that he could kill Lu Ming and the other three. He didn't care about Dandan and Hua Shui at all. He was mainly afraid of Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. However, just now, the runes on Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei's divine armament had already disappeared and their power had weakened by a bit. He no longer had any worries. In addition, he had suddenly attacked and heavily injured Lu Ming. Yes, in his opinion, although he did not kill Lu Ming was already seriously injured and on the verge of death. He no longer had the strength to fight. There was only Ling Yuwei left and he did not care at all. Therefore he remained calm and unhurried. "I don't think we know each other. There's no enmity between us. Since you're not here for the evil demon spirit blood, why do you want to kill us?" Lu Ming asked. "The reason for killing you is very simple, because I am a demon," Samoro said coldly, his body emitting a dense demonic aura. This time Ling Yuwei, Dandan, and Hua Shui were all stunned. Obviously, Samoro's answer was out of their expectations. Lu Ming, on the other hand, was slightly better, because he had his suspicions before. Demon, he really is a demon. No wonder the bone demon felt a hidden demonic aura on his body. Also, no wonder he doesn't know Ling Yuwei. Lu Ming's mind raced as he suddenly shouted, "Be careful." Because at this time, Samoro made his move again. He did not attack Lu Ming but instead attacked Ling Yuwei. His speed was extremely fast as he rushed towards Ling Yuwei, his claws grabbing towards Ling Yuwei. However, Ling Yuwei was already prepared. Her divine power crazily poured into the blood-stained Elf King bow, and an arrow condensed and shot towards Samoro's. Boom. The arrow accurately hit Samoro's claw, causing a violent explosion. However, Samoro's was extremely powerful. In a direct confrontation, the arrow shot by Ling Yuwei shook violently and then shattered. As for Samoro's, he still had some strength left. His sharp claws grabbed towards Ling Yuwei, causing her to retreat explosively. "You can't escape." Samoro shouted coldly. The demonic aura was extremely dense, and his claws actually turned into sinister demon claws, grabbing towards Ling Yuwei. But at this time, boom! A gigantic staff shadow blasted through the space and blasted towards Samoro with astonishing power. This kind of attack had already created a crisis for him. He had no choice but to stop his attack on Ling Yuwei and turn around to claw at her twice. Boom! Boom! The two claws grabbed onto the staff shadow, causing a violent explosion. The staff shadow was sent flying. You can actually unleash such a powerful attack. Samoras revealed a shocked expression as he looked at Lu Ming. The one who attacked just now was naturally Lu Ming. What is it? You're surprised? You didn't kill me in one go just now. Now you don't have the chance. Lu Ming said. Samoras was not only surprised but also shocked. He was well aware of the power of his sneak attack on Lu Ming previously. He was already very surprised that Lu Ming did not die. However, Lu Ming was definitely seriously injured. His injuries were very serious. Ordinary people would not be able to unleash even 10% of their combat power. However, Lu Ming's attack just now definitely had the power of the 9th level of the Divine Emperor realm. How was this possible? Immediately, his face revealed a sinister killing intent as he said, "So what if you can unleash your strongest battle strength? You still have to die. Kill." Samoras let out a long howl, his body moving like lightning as he charged towards Lu Ming. His claw grabbed at the air, and a claw the size of a mountain grabbed towards Lu Ming. However, on the other side Ling Yue also made her move. An arrow shattered the void and shot towards Samoras. In Samora's other hand, a devil's blade appeared. With a slash, it blocked Ling Yue's arrow and continued to attack Lu Ming. Chapter 4009. Facing Samoras' attack, Lu Ming wasn't afraid at all. He activated the Bingxian rod and blasted it out. The Bingxian rod was like a mountain, smashing towards Samoras. The two collided again. Lu Ming felt the Bingxian rod tremble violently. An incomparably powerful force rushed over from the Bingxian rod. Lu Ming's body shook violently, and he was forced to retreat. What a powerful force. Lu Ming's face was solemn. This Samoras' talent was very high. He was definitely a top monster among the demons. His cultivation base was at the 6th layer of the Divine Emperor realm, but his battle strength could suppress an ordinary 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm. However, Lu Ming felt that Samoras couldn't fight across 4 levels. His strength should be inferior to Yin Jiuling, a candidate of the Universe Prodigy list. However, it was still stronger than crossing 3 levels. It should be between 3 and 4 levels. Such strength was completely above Lu Ming and the current Ling Yue. Even if they unleashed the power of their killing weapons, it would still be the same. The key point was that Lu Ming and the others couldn't hold on for too long. Even if you can unleash your full strength, you will still die. Samoras shouted. The devil's blade in his left hand and the devil's claw in his right hand attacked Lu Ming and Ling Yue at the same time. His attacks were crazy, launching a storm of attacks. With his intelligence, he naturally knew that Lu Ming and Ling Yue were completely relying on their divine weapons to unleash the power of the 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm. However, this definitely couldn't last long, so he had to keep attacking. When the two of them were exhausted, it would be the time for him to win. Boom. The two sides exchanged a few more moves. Lu Ming and Ling Yue's faces turned pale. The power of their damage was too great. Previously, when they were fighting with a group of demons, they had continuously activated their killing weapons. At that time they hadn't fully recovered. Now that they were continuously activating it, the consumption was too shocking. Haha, die for me. Samoras also sensed it and revealed a sinister smile. F***ck your grandfather, bite him for me. Dandan roared as he pushed out with both hands. A gigantic formation appeared in the void. Then huge crocodiles formed from the formation and pounced on Samoras, opening their mouths to bite him. However, the devil's blade in Samoras' hand slashed out, and the crocodiles exploded one by one. Dandan had already started setting up the formation when Lu Ming, Ling Yue and Samoras were fighting. Unfortunately, the time it took to set up the formation was still too short, but its power was already extremely shocking. It could barely affect Samoras and reduce the pressure on Lu Ming and Ling Yue. Lu Ming and Ling Yue charged forward again. Both parties exchanged another 2 blows. The taboo power in Lu Ming's body was almost depleted. At this moment he was constantly forcing out his potential, and only then was he able to barely resist Samoras. However, Lu Ming and the other 2 were still at a disadvantage, unable to defeat Samoras. Seeing that the situation was becoming more and more disadvantageous for Lu Ming and the others, Lu Ming was prepared to take out the purple copper coffin and risk it all. At this moment, the sound of something tearing through the air came from afar. Someone was coming. And it wasn't just one group of people. The sound of something tearing through the air came from 2 directions. Moreover, there were quite a few of them. The people coming from 2 directions were extremely fast, rapidly approaching this place. Samoras' expression changed slightly. He couldn't tell if the person was a demon or a creature from the great desolate universe. The demonic aura on his body quickly converged, and the devil's blade in his hand disappeared. His palm also returned to the appearance of a normal person. In the next moment, two groups of people appeared not far away. Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and the others' eyes lit up. This was because neither side was a demon, but a creature from the great desolate universe. That's the Buddha clan. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. One of them was dressed in white robes with a golden Buddha light above their heads. This was obviously the Buddha clan of the top 10 races. The Buddha clan was an extremely unique race. In fact, there were very few true Buddha clan members. In this group of people, there was only one true Buddha clan member. One of them was about 2 meters tall. His entire body was golden as if he was made of gold. He didn't have any hair, and there was a Buddha light above his head. His palms were pressed together, and he looked very dignified. This was a true Buddha clan member. As for the others, they came from various races in the great desolate universe. Because they were fated with Buddha, they joined the Buddha clan to cultivate Buddha Tao. Slowly, these living beings who cultivated Buddha Tao were also known as the Buddha clan. The other group of people wasn't to be underestimated either because they also came from one of the top 10 races. One of the top 10 races, the Battle Saint tribe. Lu Ming even recognized one of them. It was the peerless monster of the Battle Saint tribe, Battle God Yuanwen. With the arrival of the Battle Saint tribe and the Buddha clan, Lu Ming and the others couldn't help but stop their battle with Samoras. It's the elf princess Ling Yue and Mu Yun. Who is that young man? Why are they fighting? Could it be that they are fighting for the demon spirit blood? The people from the Battle Saint tribe and the Buddha clan discussed silently. They didn't interfere. Everyone, this man is the incarnation of a demon. Let's attack together and kill him. Lu Ming roared. Now that a group of helpers came, there was no reason for him to let them go. As the sound of his voice faded, the expressions of the people from the Battle Saint tribe and the Buddha clan changed. Unkind looks appeared on their faces as they stared at Samoras. However, Samoras's expression remained calm. Everyone, he is framing me. He wants to borrow your strength to deal with me. I'm also from the great desolate universe. Do you guys think I look like a demon? The people from the Battle Saint tribe and Buddha clan shook their heads. The primogenitor bloodline that Samoras awakened was extremely unique. It could conceal the baleful devilish chi very deeply. These people from the Buddha clan and Battle Saint tribe weren't bone devils. They basically wouldn't be able to sense the baleful devilish chi hidden by Samoras. Hence, they naturally wouldn't believe that Samoras was a demon. Upon seeing this scene, Samoras coldly laughed in his heart. He then said, "Everyone, Mu Yun, Ling Yue and the others want to snatch the blood of demons from me. Truly despicable. I won't let this matter rest. I hope that everyone won't interfere." After speaking, Samoras directly rushed towards Lu Ming. Although he didn't use the baleful devilish chi, his combat prowess was extremely shocking. Every move he made had the combat prowess of a 9th-level God Emperor. Lu Ming, Ling Yue and Dandan could only block. But at this moment, Lu Ming and Ling Yue were both exhausted. The might of their divine weapons had already weakened. After exchanging a single blow, they were forced to retreat, unable to block Samoras. Everyone, this person is really a demon. Earlier he even used the ultimate move of a demon. We can't let him off. This person is sinister and cunning. After dealing with us, he will definitely deal with you guys. Let's join forces and kill him. Hua Shui was extremely anxious. She shouted at the people from the Buddha clan and Battle Saint Lord. Amitba. Among the people from the Buddha clan, the real Buddha clan chanted. Not only did he not make a move, he even led the people from the Buddha clan and retreated a distance away. It was clear that he didn't want to help either side. As for the people from Battle Saint Lord's side, they turned their gazes towards Battle God Yuanwen. Chapter 40:10. The people of the Battle Saint tribe turned their gazes onto the Battle God Yuanwen. Evidently, the Battle God Yuanwen was their leader. Hee hee. Yuanwen laughed mischievously. Suddenly, a purple golden halberd appeared in his hand and a terrifying chi filled the air. Boom. The Battle God Yuanwen took a step forward. His purple gold halberd grew rapidly and slashed out. The target of his attack was actually Samoros. The purple golden halberd broke through the air. Surprisingly, it had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Yuanwen was terrifyingly strong. At that moment he only had the strength of the 1st godly emperor layer, but when he took out his weapon he had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. It wasn't that the battle god origin rune's killing weapon was of a higher grade than the mysterious ice rod. It could only be said that this violet gold halberd was a halberd passed down by the ancestors of the Battle Saint tribe and was more compatible with the battle god origin rune. Samo Luo's expression changed. He punched the air and a gigantic hand appeared, blocking the attack of the purple golden halberd. Brother, what's the meaning of this? We have no enmity between us, right? Asked Samo Luo coldly. We have no enmity between us, but if you want to kill Mu Yun, I won't agree because he's my opponent. Only I can kill him, you can't, said the battle god, pointing his halberd at Samo Luo coldly. By the side, Lu Ming was speechless. Samo Luo pulled a long face. He hadn't thought that Yuan Wen would attack him for such a reason. If you want an opponent, I'll be your opponent. But today I have to kill Mu Yun, said Samo Luo. You? Yuan Wen looked at him disdainfully and said, You can't, you're still far from being strong enough. Samo Luo almost coughed up blood. He was actually being looked down upon. He was an abyssal prodigy who had awakened the abyssal progenitor's bloodline. He was the most talented prodigy in the history of the Eight Snakes mountain range. He was actually being looked down upon by the battle god Yuan Wen. He was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He was thinking about how to deal with Lu Ming, Ling Yuwei and the others. Then he would deal with Yuan Wen. He had already sentenced battle god Yuan Wen to death in his heart. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei didn't say anything. They were making the best use of their time to recover. Scram. If you don't scram, I'll beat you until you do. Battle god Yuan Wen was domineering. You're courting death. Samo Luo roared. His figure flashed as he charged towards Yuan Wen. Boom. Battle god Yuan Wen's energy was as fierce as a tiger as he swung his halberd towards Samora's. However, battle god Yuan Wen was no match for Samora's and was forced to retreat. Samoa hurriedly chased after him, wanting to kill the battle god Yuan Wen in one go. You have the strength of the sixth godly emperor layer, and you want to fight against me, Prince Yuan Wen? From the Battle Saint tribe, a muscular young man stepped out. His aura surged as his entire body shone with a reddish-golden light. He brandished a long spear and pierced it towards Samora's. Boom. After exchanging a blow, the two of them trembled and retreated at the same time. The young genius who was fighting against the holy clans was also extremely strong. He only had the strength of the sixth godly emperor layer, but he wasn't any weaker than Samo Luo. Now's the time. At that moment, Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei attacked at the same time. Swoosh. Ling Yuwei unleashed the last of her strength and shot out a heaven-shaking arrow that pierced through the void and shot towards Samoro. The arrow emitted whistling sounds as it tore through the air. It was as if nothing could stop it. At the same time, Lu Ming waved the Bingxian rod and infused the last of his energy into the Bingxian rod to launch his strongest attack. The huge shadow of the rod was like a mountain, pressing towards Samoro's. The two of them grasped the timing extremely well. Just when Samora's was retreating after exchanging a blow with the Heaven Chosen from the Battle Saint tribe, the two of them acted. The purpose of their attack was not to kill Samora's. They knew that even if they joined hands, it would be very difficult to kill Samora's. Their goal was to force him to reveal his true identity. In a life-and-death situation, it would be very difficult to hide. As expected, Samora's pupils contracted rapidly, and his hair stood on end. A sense of danger exploded in his heart. Roar. At the critical moment, Samora's let out a roar. A dense demonic aura gushed out from his body. At the same time, his body underwent a drastic change. A pair of demonic wings stretched out. At the same time, his body grew larger and his mouth became wide with fangs. Samora's had completely revealed his demonic form. This was because his demonic form was his strongest form. In the face of danger, he subconsciously transformed into his demonic form to avoid the danger. After transforming into his demonic form, Samora's let out a loud roar. His demonic claws clawed out. First, he destroyed Ling Yuwei's arrow and then blocked the attack of the Ice Mystic Staff. Die for me. Samora's roared and charged towards Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei quickly retreated. When they attacked, they had already retreated. However, their speed couldn't be compared to Samora's. However, they had Dandan. When they attacked, they had already discussed their escape route. Rise. Dandan shouted softly and a large formation appeared. Then, the formation condensed into a tortoise shell that blocked in front of Samora's. Boom. Samora's clawed at the tortoise shell, producing an ear-piercing sound. Numerous cracks appeared on the tortoise shell. However, in the end, it blocked Samora's attack. That was enough. Because the battle god Yuan Wen and the others had already reacted. Demon, it's really a demon. This person's chi is so strong. He has such battle prowess at the sixth godly emperor layer. He's a peerless genius among the demons. We can't let him leave. Loud roars resounded in the air. The battle god Yuan Wen and the genius of the Battle Saint tribe reacted the fastest. They immediately attacked. A golden halberd and a golden spear pierced towards Samoras. Facing their attacks, Samoras didn't have time to continue attacking Lu Ming and the others. He could only turn around to block. At that moment the others also reacted and attacked, including the people of the Buddha clan. Ba. Demon, this poor monk shall help you transcend. The real Buddha clan cultivator was covered in a golden light. The Buddhic halo above his head shone brightly. He slammed out with his palm, causing a gigantic golden palm imprint to appear, slamming towards Samoras. At the same time the others from the Battle Saint tribe and the Buddha clan also attacked. All sorts of attacks were directed towards Samoras. Damn it! Samoras howled in rage. The devil's saber appeared and slashed out continuously, blocking the attacks. However, he was surrounded by so many people. Among them there were quite a few who were extremely strong, not much weaker than him. For example, that spear-wielding genius from the Battle Saint tribe. That was a true member of the Buddha race. His combat prowess was extremely strong and wasn't any weaker than Samoras. With so many people attacking together, Samoras couldn't handle it. Although he managed to block the attacks, he himself was forced to retreat repeatedly. Chapter 40:11. Being attacked by so many people, Samoras retreated continuously. As for Lu Ming, Ling Yue, Dandan and the rest, they quietly circled behind the Battle Saint tribe and the Buddha clan, recovering while watching the show. Samo Luo was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Die. The battle god Yuan Wen and the others attacked Samo Luo like a storm. Samo Luo was definitely a peerless demon. If they could get his demon blood, they would be able to exchange it for a lot of merit points. The Heavenly Palace's merit points were calculated in two ways. One was the cultivation level. The higher the cultivation level of the demon, the more merit points their demon blood could be exchanged for. The other was potential. The greater the potential of the demon, the more merit points they could exchange for. The greater the potential, the more merit points they could get. There was no limit. Samo Luo was only in the 6th Godly Emperor layer, but he was already so strong. He was almost as strong as the candidates of the universe's young geniuses list in the primitive universe. The potential of such an existence was astonishing. One could imagine how many merit points he could exchange for. They attacked with all their strength, trying to take down Samo Luo. Samo Luo also attacked with all his strength. His demon wings were like divine swords cutting the void. He held a demon sword in his right hand and a demon claw in his left hand. Boom, boom, boom. Both sides exchanged more than 10 moves. Samo Luo was no match for them. He was blown away and crashed into a small mountain. He coughed up blood. Just you wait. You're all going to die. Samo Luo roared furiously. He flapped his demon wings and turned into a beam of demon light, flying away at an astonishing speed. You want to leave? Stay. Die. The battle god Yuan Wen and the others shouted. A halberd, a spear, a golden Buddhist hand, and a golden staff tore the void apart and attacked Samo Luo. There was a horrible shriek. Blood splattered in the void. The front became quiet. The battle god Yuan Wen and the others chased after him, but it was to no avail. Samo Luo was injured, but he managed to escape. Then the battle god Yuan Wen looked at Lu Ming with strong battle intent. Thank you for your help. Lu Ming clasped his fists. Don't thank me. It's rare for me to meet an opponent in the primitive universe. I don't want you to die like this. The battle god Yuan Wen grinned. The people of the Battle Saint tribe and the Buddhist clan were surprised. What did battle god Yuan Wen mean by this? Could it be that Lu Ming could compete with the battle god Yuan Wen? Could it be him? They couldn't help but think of the mysterious monstrous genius who fought against the battle god Yuan Wen on the shady pit Devil Mountain. Back then, Lu Ming had disguised himself and they did not know his true appearance. They had always thought that he was a mysterious genius. Could it be Mu Yun? However, judging from Lu Ming's earlier attack, it was really possible. When Lu Ming activated his weapon just now, his combat strength was at the 9th level of the Divine Emperor realm. He was not any weaker than the fighting god Yuan Wen. At the thought of this, they were even more shocked. No matter what, you saved me once. I promise that I will let you go once in the future. Lu Ming said. Haha, let me go this time? What big words, I'm afraid you won't have such a chance. The battle god Yuan Wen laughed and said, now is not a good time to fight. Mu Yun, I hope you can become a heavenly soldier. Let's fight in the heavenly palace. That's what I want. Lu Ming said. Young Master Yuan Wen, we can't stay here for long. That demon has escaped. I'm afraid it will attract a large number of demons. Let's leave this place first. A genius of the Battle Saint tribe said to the battle god Yuanwen. At this moment, the people of the Buddhist clan had already taken action and left. Muyun, let's go together. The battle god Yuanwen looked at Lu Ming. There was a trace of gratitude in Lu Ming's eyes. Obviously, the battle god Yuanwen had seen that Lu Ming and Ling Yue had not fully recovered. If they encountered demons, it would be very dangerous, so he invited them to go together. Apart from his belligerence, his character was not bad. Lu Ming naturally wouldn't refuse and immediately left with the battle god Yuanwen and the others. After a period of time, when Lu Ming and Ling Yue's condition had recovered to its peak, the two sides separated. Lu Ming, Ling Yue, Dandan, and Hua Shui headed in another direction. This was because they had received news that there were other elves rushing over. They were going to meet up with them. Soon, Lu Ming and the others met up with the elves. This group of elves had a total of more than 10 people. They were all young people and were the top geniuses of the elves. Greetings, princess. Greetings, prince consort. They bowed to Ling Yue and Lu Ming. Lu Ming had obtained the holy tree seed for the elves, which was a great favor to the elves. Most of the elves had recognized Lu Ming and the relationship between Lu Ming and Ling Yue. You guys, don't call me that now. Ling Yue's face was flushed red. Although she was happy in her heart, she was really embarrassed. Lu Ming also coughed dryly a few times. He felt a headache coming on and quickly changed the topic. After a while, they left and continued to hunt demons. However, they did not go deeper into the 8-Snake Mountain range and only circled around the periphery. In a valley, a large number of demon experts were gathered. However, at this moment, these demon experts were as silent as cicadas in winter, not daring to even breathe loudly. Because in the depths of the valley, Samoa was angry. Samoa was indeed furious. The killing intent all over his body was about to materialize. Although his injuries had already healed, his anger was growing stronger and stronger. Mu Yun, Ling Yue, and the people of the great desolate universe, I want you to die, die. Samoa let out a low roar, his expression incomparably sinister. Prince, what should we do next? The people of the great desolate universe are too scattered, and it's very difficult to hunt them down. Moreover, during this period of time, the people of the great desolate universe have become smarter and won't be easily fooled. A demon minister reported. Since it's difficult to hunt, then let them take the initiative to die. Samoa said. Take the initiative to die? The demon ministers below all revealed puzzled expressions, not knowing what to do. I have already investigated clearly. The purpose of these creatures of the great desolate universe is to obtain our demon spirit blood. Then we will use the demon spirit blood to attract them. During this period of time, we have snatched back a large amount of demon spirit blood from the creatures of the great desolate universe. News has spread that we will hold a sacrificial ceremony at the highest peak in the north, the Divine Dawn Peak. At that time, those creatures of the great desolate universe will naturally head towards the Divine Dawn Peak. Samoa said. What if the people of the great desolate universe don't go? Someone asked. No, not all of them will go, but a large portion of them will definitely go. Alright, go and prepare. Samoa gave the order. Chapter 40:12. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed. In these 5 days, Lu Ming and the others had been hunting demons in the periphery, but they did not encounter any danger. At this time, a few elven geniuses who had gone out to investigate returned. Have you found any news? Ling Yue asked. There's an important piece of news. The demons will conduct a sacrificial ceremony at the Divine Dawn Peak in the north in 25 days. An elf said. Sacrificial ceremony? Lu Ming revealed a puzzled expression. The sacrificial ceremony is a tradition of the demons. For example, if a large number of demons die in battle, the demons will take out the spirit blood of these dead demons and hold a sacrificial ceremony. In the legends of the demons, this can allow the demons who died in battle to reincarnate. The elven genius said. In that case, there will be a large amount of demon spirit blood at the Divine Dawn Peak. Lu Ming whispered. The eyes of the others also flickered. In the 8-Snake Mountain range, there were 3 ways to obtain demon spirit blood. The first was to hunt demons and obtain their spirit blood. However, this was the slowest. The second was to snatch the spirit blood of other people in the great desolate universe. This was much faster. The third was to hunt demons. However, the prerequisite was that a great battle had broken out between the two sides. For example, during this period of time, the demons had set up a trap and killed a large number of creatures in the great desolate universe. This way, the demon spirit blood obtained by the creatures in the great desolate universe would return to the hands of the demons. At this time, hunting demons would yield the most demon spirit blood. And the demons were conducting a sacrificial ceremony at the Divine Dawn Peak. It was obvious that they were gathering the demon spirit blood they had snatched from the creatures in the great desolate universe to conduct a sacrificial ceremony. Without a doubt, a large amount of demon spirit blood would be gathered at the Divine Dawn Peak this time. If they could obtain it, it would be a huge harvest. However, I'm afraid that most of them are traps. Lu Ming said again. Then should we go or not? Ling Yue said. Ling Yue and the other elven geniuses were not stupid. The demons chose to conduct the sacrificial ceremony at this time. Most likely, there was an ambush and they deliberately lured the people of the great desolate universe into it. I guess that there will still be many people in the great desolate universe who will go. Lu Ming said. The major races in the primitive universe, especially those that were ranked at the top, had many experts. Many of them could fight against geniuses that were several levels higher than them. Some of the older ones had stronger cultivations. These people might not necessarily be afraid of the demons. Knowing that there was so much abyss devil spirit blood, these people might not be able to hold themselves back. Are we going or not? Ling Yue said. She was completely looking at Lu Ming. If Lu Ming went, he would go. Whether I go or not depends on the situation. Lu Ming said. Depend on the situation? Everyone was puzzled. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. You're about to break through to the third godly emperor layer, right? Lu Ming looked at Ling Yue. He could sense that Ling Yue's cultivation level was very close to the third godly emperor layer. Indeed, I almost broke through to the third godly emperor layer. After that battle, I have the feeling that I'll break through to the third godly emperor layer soon. Ling Yue nodded. My cultivation level is also about to break through, so I said, it depends on the situation. If we can break through within 25 days, we can go. If we can't break through, we won't go. Lu Ming said. If their cultivation level hadn't broken through, even if they controlled a great killing weapon, they would only be able to fight against a ninth godly emperor layer existence. The key was that they would be exhausted after a few moves. If they went to the Divine Dawn Peak, they wouldn't have the strength to fight for the abyss devil spirit blood. Instead, they would be courting death. However, if their cultivation level could break through and their battle strength soared, they might still have a chance. Alright then. Let's break through with all our might now. Ling Yue nodded. Immediately, they found a secret place to stay and began to cultivate in seclusion. In a cave, Lu Ming sealed himself inside. With a wave of his hand, Chiu flew out and floated in the air. There was another reason why he said this. He felt that Chiu was about to break through. I want to eat. Chiu opened his mouth and kept muttering. He was about to break through, so he needed a lot of energy. Lu Ming took out a pile of divine weapons and threw them to Chiu. Chiu swallowed them into his mouth and then the balloon sank. After comforting Chiu, Lu Ming also began to cultivate. After a series of battles, under the stimulation of great pressure and danger, Lu Ming's cultivation level advanced by leaps and bounds. Especially the battle with Samoro, it was very difficult. Lu Ming suppressed himself to the extreme and stimulated his potential to the extreme. When he recovered, he found that he was very close to the second godly emperor layer. I must break through within 25 days. No, within 20 days, Lu Ming whispered, giving himself a lot of pressure. Buzz buzz. All the cells in his body were trembling. Under this pressure, Lu Ming began to try to break through to the second godly emperor layer. In his cells, traces of potential were constantly stimulated. Time passed quickly. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, soon 10 days had passed. Boom. At that moment, Chiu suddenly released a powerful chi. Chiu had broken through to the fifth godly emperor layer. Chiu had broken through to the fifth godly emperor layer. With Chiu's fighting strength, he could definitely kill ordinary cultivators of the seventh godly emperor layer. He would definitely be a great help to Lu Ming. Chiu broke through. I have to speed up too. Soon, I feel like I'm about to reach a bottleneck, whispered Lu Ming. He continued to cultivate. Very quickly the 18th day arrived. Suddenly Lu Ming opened his eyes. It seemed like the sun, the moon, and the stars were in his eyes. Then a powerful chi emerged from his body. His chi rose rapidly. In the end, there was an explosion as he broke through to the next cultivation level. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He had broken through. He had finally broken through to the second godly emperor layer. Lu Ming sensed that the forbidden strength in his body had increased dramatically. On top of that, he hadn't reached the peak yet because he had just broken through. Lu Ming took out a large amount of spiritual wood hearts and started to absorb them. Another day passed and Lu Ming's chi finally stabilized. With my current strength, controlling the Xian ice rod should be much easier. Lu Ming sensed the vigorous strength in his body and smiled. At the same time he looked confident. If he controlled the Xian ice rod now, he would be able to use the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. He would be able to use a lot of attacks, at least a dozen. It wouldn't be like before where he could only use a few attacks. Of course Lu Ming could also use his full strength. That way the Xian ice rod's strength would increase dramatically. It would surpass the strength of an ordinary cultivator of the 9th godly emperor layer. But that way Lu Ming wouldn't be able to use too many attacks. But all in all, Lu Ming's fighting strength had increased tremendously. Translator, Transin Editor, Transin. Chapter 40:13. However, if you can use the mysterious ice rod less, it's better to use it less. Lu Ming warned himself in his heart. After all, the mysterious ice rod was an external object. If one relied too much on external objects, they would develop a reliance on external objects and lose their drive to improve. This would be very detrimental to their future cultivation. Lu Ming decided that after completing this assessment, he would try his best not to use the mysterious ice rod. Lu Ming, you've also broken through. That's great. Qiu Qiu flew over with a fawning expression. Take it and eat it. When Lu Ming saw Qiu Qiu's appearance, he knew what this guy was planning. He casually took out a large number of divine weapons and threw them at Qiu Qiu. Qiu Qiu opened his mouth wide and swallowed them all in one gulp. Then he revealed a satisfied expression and turned into a bracelet on Lu Ming's wrist. Lu Ming broke out of seclusion. As soon as he came out of seclusion, he saw Ling Yue standing in the air, her body constantly emitting a powerful aura. Behind her was a towering tree that towered into the sky. As for the geniuses of the elf clan, they were carefully guarding the surroundings, protecting Ling Yue. 3rd level of the Divine Emperor realm. Lu Ming sensed it slightly and knew that Ling Yue's cultivation had indeed broken through and stepped into the 3rd level of the Divine Emperor realm. After a long time, Ling Yue's aura calmed down, and the phenomenon of the towering tree also disappeared. Congratulations. Lu Ming stepped into the air with a smile on his face. Congratulations, it seems that you've also broken through. This trip to the Divine Dawn Peak is a must. Ling Yue smiled. Such a big commotion didn't attract any demons. It seems that the experts of the demons are really not nearby and are heading towards the Divine Dawn Peak. We can't all go. Lu Ming said. Ling Yue nodded. In the end, it was decided that Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and Dandan would go while the others would stay here. It was not hard to imagine how dangerous the Divine Dawn Peak was. There would definitely be a fierce battle there. Those who were not strong enough would only be courting death if they went there. Lu Ming and Ling Yue's cultivation had both broken through, and their fighting strength had greatly increased. As for Dandan's formation, it was incomparably profound and might be of use at that time. After making the decision, the 3 of them immediately set off towards the Divine Dawn Peak. On the way they didn't encounter any extremely strong demons. Not to mention demons of the 9th godly emperor layer, they didn't even encounter many demons of the 8th godly emperor layer. Occasionally they encountered some demons, but they were very weak. Lu Ming and the others killed them easily. Therefore their journey was smooth and unimpeded. The 3 of them traveled at an extremely fast speed, and in only 3 days they arrived at the Divine Dawn Peak. There was still a day before the demon's sacrificial ritual began. In front of him, a tall and majestic mountain stood between heaven and earth. From afar, one could see the figures of demons flashing on the mountain peak. Lu Ming and the other 2 stopped in the distance. Nearby, they discovered other creatures from the primitive universe. For example, the Buddha clan, the Blood clan, and so on were all very powerful races. Each of these races had gathered more than 100 people, observing from afar. For the time being, no one made a move. Clearly they were waiting for an opportunity. A day passed in the blink of an eye. This was the creature of the primitive universe hiding in the dark, watching the Divine Dawn Peak from afar. At this time they saw many demons appear at the top of the Divine Dawn Peak, surrounding an altar. Then a demon took out a huge crystal coffin and placed it on the altar. Many people's eyes lit up. Without a doubt, the crystal coffin contained the demon's spirit blood. The demons were about to begin the sacrificial ritual. However, no one made a move for the time being. They were all waiting for others to make a move. The sacrificial ritual will last for 7 days and 7 nights. After the ritual is over, the demon's spirit blood will dissipate. We are not in a hurry to make a move. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Ling Yue and Dandan. The others had the same idea as him. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. Finally, someone couldn't hold it in anymore. A team rushed towards the Divine Dawn Peak. That's the World Annihilation Clan. Lu Ming and the others were astonished. That team was from a terrifyingly powerful clan, the World Annihilation Clan. The World Annihilation Clan was ranked 11th on the ranking list of the 10,000 clans of the primitive universe. They were extremely strong. There were more than 100 people from the World Annihilation Clan. They were extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, they were about to reach the top of the mountain. Die. A group of demons suddenly charged out of the Divine Dawn Peak. That group of demons was composed of more than a dozen cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer, dozens of cultivators of the 8th Godly Emperor layer, and over 100 cultivators of the 7th Godly Emperor layer. They were extremely strong. The demons and the members of the World Annihilation Clan fought fiercely. The sky and the earth rumbled. However, the World Annihilation Clan quickly fell into a disadvantageous position. Even though there were some terrifying cultivators in the World Annihilation Clan who could fight across several cultivation levels, and there were also peerless geniuses who had the strength of the 9th Godly Emperor layer, there were fewer of them than the demons. After a short time, the World Annihilation Clan left a few corpses behind and retreated. The demons didn't chase after them. Very quickly, the members of the World Annihilation Clan disappeared into the forest. Obviously, there are many demons hiding in the Divine Dawn Peak. That was just one of them. Lu Ming said. Yes, they want to lure everyone out and kill them all in one fell swoop. Dandan said. Let's hide. Don't act blindly without thinking. Those strong clans won't be able to hold themselves back. Lu Ming said. The three of them hid in a secret place and observed the situation. Lu Ming had guessed correctly. After a day, those strong clans couldn't hold themselves back anymore. The top 10 clans took the lead and gathered the other clans to attack the Divine Dawn Peak together. Once they obtained the spiritual blood of the evil demons, they would split the rewards equally. Very quickly, more than 50 clans had gathered together. There were a few thousand people from 50 clans. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Those people attacked. Their silhouettes flickered as they charged towards the Divine Dawn Peak. When they were 300 li away from the Divine Dawn Peak, they all rose into the air and charged towards the top of the Divine Dawn Peak. Die. A cold voice came from the Xinxia Peak. Then, numerous demons rushed out of the Xinxia Peak and rushed toward the strong cultivators of the various races in the primitive universe. The two armies collided violently and a fierce battle broke out. There were more than 10,000 strong cultivators on both sides. It was an earth-shattering battle. So many strong cultivators. There are almost 200 demons of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. Lu Ming and the others looked grave. So many demons of the 9th Godly Emperor layer attacking at the same time was terrifying. Even with their current fighting strength, they could only run away. The strong clans of the primitive universe hadn't thought that there would be so many strong demons among the demons. As soon as they started fighting, they suffered great losses. Many of them were torn apart by the demons. Chapter 40:14. The demons had more than 200 cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer and more than 1,000 cultivators of the 8th Godly Emperor layer. That number exceeded the expectations of the geniuses of the primitive universe. Suddenly, the primitive universe's side was at a disadvantage. People kept dying. The two sides fought fiercely for a while. In the end, the primitive universe's side retreated, leaving behind many corpses. The demons didn't chase after them. They retreated to the Godly Dawn Peak, not to ambush the primitive universe's creatures, but to protect the sacrificial ceremony. At the top of the Godly Dawn Peak, Samo Luo sat cross-legged and gazed into the distance. Prince, why didn't you use your full strength a moment ago? It was a good opportunity to annihilate the primitive universe's creatures. Asked a demon curiously. It's not time yet. The person I'm waiting for hasn't appeared yet. Besides, there's a big fish in the primitive universe. I'm waiting, said Samo Luo coldly. The primitive universe's creatures retreated far away and gathered together. They all pulled long faces. I wouldn't have thought that the Godly Dawn Peak would have so many strong cultivators. Are all the strong cultivators of the 8-Snake Demon Kingdom coming? More than 200 cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. That's terrifying. Unfortunately, some of the stronger geniuses of my clan are practicing in other areas. Same for my clan. Everybody was talking. The Heavenly Palace divided the Dark Universe's territories into different levels according to how dangerous they were. The 8-Snake Mountain Range was a level 2 area. The strongest cultivators there were cultivators of the 9th Godly Emperor layer. The level 3 area was even more dangerous. Not only were there many Godly Emperor layer demons, but there were also great supreme god-level demons. That kind of devil was incomparably terrifying. However, some strong cultivators from different clans would take the exam in the level 3 area because they could get more merit points there. That was why the strong cultivators of those clans said that. Besides, they couldn't cross the line at will when taking the exam in different areas. For example, if you went to the level 3 area, you couldn't change your mind. You could only stay in the level 3 area until the exam was over. Otherwise, some people from those clans would send messages to the geniuses of those clans and ask them to come and help them. That way we won't be able to take the godly Dawn Peak and get the blood, sighed someone. Not necessarily. A blood rogue youth said coldly. Everybody recognized him. He was a young genius from the Blood Clan, one of the 10 strongest clans. He had a terrifying weapon. If he used his full strength, he could defeat cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. Could it be that you have a way? Many people looked at the blood kindred prodigy. Indeed, I don't mind telling you. We have a peerless cultivator who can easily kill cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. He's in the 8 Snakes Mountain range. The prodigy of the blood race said. What? Didn't such an existence go to the level 3 area? Where is he now? Why don't I see him? Everyone was shocked. That's a cousin of mine. When he was hunting demons in the 8 Snake Mountain range, he had a sudden epiphany. A few days ago he was in secluded cultivation. I just sent him a message and he has already ended his secluded cultivation and is rushing over at full speed. With his help, we can definitely defeat the evil demon army. The kindred freak said. That's great. We'll wait for a few days, said the others. I don't think that's enough. Before, when we attacked, there were many people who didn't attack. They just watched from the sidelines and watched the tigers fight. They wanted to be the fishermen who would reap the benefits. How can we ignore those people? Said someone coldly. It was an angel. It was the 10-winged angel who had fought against Lu Ming and the others. His name was Lafitte. He didn't say that to target Lu Ming and the others. In fact, he didn't even notice that Lu Ming and the others were hiding in the dark. The main reason was that there were many people who were hiding in the dark. Before, not everyone had participated in the battle against the evil demon army. Some people hadn't attacked. Those people all had their own thoughts. Some people were afraid and didn't dare attack. Some people had the same idea as Lu Ming and the others. They wanted to watch from the sidelines and watch the tigers fight. They wanted to be the fishermen who would reap the benefits. That's right. Those people are a disaster. If they don't get lost, they'll die, said the blood kindred freak coldly. Then before the next attack, let's get rid of those people first. That's right. Join us or get lost. Each side will be responsible for one direction. After the discussion with the top 10 clans as the leaders, these people spread out in all directions, attacking those who were hiding in the dark. Boom. In one direction, the people of the Blood Clan attacked. Rays of blood-red light bombarded the ground. The ground rumbled as a huge explosion occurred. Then one figure after another rushed out in a sorry state. What are you doing, blood kindred? You attacked us for no reason. We didn't provoke you, did we? The people who rushed out from the ground roared angrily. Those people were from a strange race called the Earth Travelers. They were short but they could walk on rocks. Their overall strength was very strong in the Primordial universe. They were ranked 63rd on the Primordial 10,000 races list. Previously they had been hiding underground, preparing to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight, then reap the benefits of the fishermen. They were going to wait for the creatures of the other races and the evil demons to be injured. Then they would use the earth travel technique to secretly steal the evil demon's spirit blood. Unfortunately, the blood kindred blasted them out. Why did you attack? You earth travelers are hiding in the dark and want to reap the benefits. It's not that easy. Now I'll give you a choice. Join us and fight the evil demons together or get lost. A blood kindred prodigy said coldly. You blood kindred don't go too far. It's our freedom whether we want to attack or not. It's also our freedom where we want to rest. The dark universe doesn't belong to you blood kindred. An earth traveler prodigy argued. Oh, is that so? The blood kindred prodigy smiled coldly. Suddenly he turned into a ray of blood-red light and flashed out. Poof. When the blood-red light disappeared, the earth traveler prodigy's body was split in half and he died on the spot. You, the earth traveler prodigy was shocked. If you don't want to get lost, then die. The blood kindred prodigy said coldly. The earth traveler prodigy's expression turned ugly. However, they did not dare to resist the blood kindred. The top 10 races were much stronger than them. Okay, let's leave. Let's go. The earth traveler prodigies gritted their teeth and retreated. The Earth Traveler prodigies were famous for being cowards in the universe. If it weren't for their great talent, they wouldn't have been ranked 63rd on the Primordial 10,000 races list. In the blink of an eye, all the Earth Traveler prodigies had left. Chapter 40:15. The same situation happened around the Divine Dawn Peak. Some of the clans and individuals hiding in the dark were all blasted out. Some people joined in to attack the demons while others chose to retreat. It was inevitable that Lu Ming and the other three would be found. "Get the hell out here." Swish. A cold voice rang out. Following that, a dazzling holy light slashed down towards the place where Lu Ming and the others were hiding. Lu Ming and Ling Yu could only retreat and rush into the air. Why were there 2 people and not 3? This was because Dandan had left when the various races were fighting with the demons. He had informed Lu Ming and Ling Yu Wei that he needed to set up a formation in the dark. Enemies truly meet on a narrow road. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. This was because the one who attacked them was none other than the angel race. Moreover, it was the male 10-winged angel Lafitte. When Lafitte saw Lu Ming and Ling Yu Wei, he was clearly stunned for a moment before his eyes filled with a cold light. "Mu Yun, Ling Yu Wei, it's you guys. Haha, this time let's see where you guys go." Lafitte laughed loudly, his killing intent as cold as a blade. This area was under the responsibility of the angel race, so the people of the angel race were all scattered around. When they heard Lafitte's voice, they all looked over and turned into rays of holy light as they rushed over. Lu Ming's expression was calm as he said indifferently, "So it's you. You're not dead yet. What a pity." Back then, Lu Ming and the others had relied on Dandan's formation to break out of the encirclement and leave these angels to the demons. It seemed that in the end, these angels had still managed to break out. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, there were at least dozens of angel race geniuses surrounding Lu Ming and Ling Yu Wei. "It's them? Damn bastard. This time we'll tear them into pieces. How dare they trick us?" Angry roars rang out one after another. Many of the angel race's prodigies looked at Lu Ming and Lin Fan with murderous intent. Back then they had been tricked by Lu Ming and the others. They had been besieged by a group of demon powerhouses. Although they had escaped in the end, they had suffered heavy losses. A portion of the angels had become food for the demons. These people had long since hated Lu Ming and Ling Yu Wei to the bone. "It seems like quite a few of you managed to escape. What a pity, what a pity." Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. "Brat, you're courting death." Lafitte roared and took out his great killing weapon, the angelic divine sword. Whoosh! A powerful aura emanated from the angelic sword, and a sword light slashed towards Lu Ming. He knew how strong Lu Ming was, so he immediately used his most powerful weapon. He had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. But this time, Lu Ming didn't take out the mysterious ice rod. Instead he took out the Zephyr Pearl. When Lu Ming had broken through to the 2nd godly emperor layer, he had been able to summon even stronger gales from the Zephyr Pearl. His strength had reached the 9th godly emperor layer. The Zephyr Pearl was easy to use. That way Lu Ming would be able to fight for a longer period of time. Whoosh, whoosh. The Zephyr Pearl turned into a tornado and moved towards Lafitte's angelic divine sword. Boom. A violent explosion sounded out as the tornado formed by the fierce wind collided with the angelic sword, causing a shocking explosion. Then the fierce wind dissipated, and Lafitte's body retreated continuously. "Fuck. Attack together. Kill him," shouted Lafitte. "Die." In the surroundings, many of the angel race's prodigies attacked. All sorts of holy lights moved towards Lu Ming. Many of them had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. It wasn't that all of them had deadly weapons, but that some of them had very high cultivation levels. Some of them had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer, some had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer, and some had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. Block. Lu Ming used his full strength to activate the Zephyr Pearl. Gales kept coming out of the Zephyr Pearl, forming a circular wall of wind around him. Boom, boom, boom. Those attacks bombarded the wall of wind, making it shake violently. It even started collapsing. However, Lu Ming summoned more gales and continued forming the wall of wind. The wall of wind kept the angel race's prodigies at bay. At that moment, Ling Yu Wei attacked. The royal elf bow appeared in her hand. Whoosh! An arrow pierced through the air and shot towards an angel race's prodigy. That angel race's prodigy was an 8-winged angel. He had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer, but his fighting strength was comparable to that of the 9th godly emperor layer. However, he couldn't block Ling Yu Wei's arrow. The arrow pierced through his attack and directly pierced through his body. The lower half of his body exploded into pieces, and blood spurted out of his mouth. He was severely injured. Her attack power? Why is it so strong? The others were shocked. At this time Ling Yue shot another arrow. This arrow was aimed at Lafitte. Lafitte was shocked. He slashed out with all his might with the angel sword, colliding with the arrow. However, it was useless. With a boom, his body shook violently. In the end, he couldn't even hold onto the angel sword and flew out. The arrow also pierced through Lafitte's body. Lafitte screamed miserably as his body exploded, leaving only his head behind. He was not dead yet. He retreated in fear, his eyes filled with incomparable fear. Most of his strength relied on that great killing weapon. That great killing weapon was sent flying by the arrow, and he relied on his own ability to not die after being pierced through by Ling Yue's arrow. This was already a sign of his strong vitality. Ling Yue drew her bow again, still aiming at Lafitte. She had an extremely bad impression of Lafitte and wanted to kill him with one arrow. Swoosh! The emerald green arrow flew out, once again shooting towards Lafitte. This time, if Lafitte were to be hit, he would definitely die. At this moment, a silver cross sword wave violently slashed out and struck Ling Yue's arrow. It actually blocked Ling Yue's arrow. Then the figure of an angel appeared. This angel was an 8-winged angel, but his cultivation level was shockingly strong. He had reached the 8th Divine Emperor layer. An 8-winged angel of the 8th Divine Emperor layer was able to fight across 2 levels. His strength was already far above that of an ordinary 9th Divine Emperor layer. How dare you? You want to kill someone from my angel clan? You're courting death. The young angel groaned coldly. The divine sword in his hand slashed out continuously, slashing at the wind wall that Lu Ming had set up with the strong wind. Rumble. The wind wall violently shook, and then was forcibly split open by the sword light. The terrifying sword chi covered the sky and covered the earth as it slashed towards Ling Yue. Ling Yue continuously shot a few arrows with all her strength. Her chi was a bit unstable and it was a bit difficult for her to dodge. At that moment, Lu Ming no longer hesitated. He took out the ice shen rod and smashed it out, destroying the sword chi. Kill? Lu Ming shouted loudly. The ice shen rod turned into the size of a mountain and smashed down towards the genius of the angel clan. The genius of the angel clan also rushed forward, slashing out a shocking sword light. Chapter 40:16. Lu Ming and the 8-winged angel clan's prodigy were fighting with their strongest abilities. The mountain-like mysterious ice rod and the pure white sword light collided, resulting in a shocking explosion. Then the 2 figures were both knocked back. They were evenly matched. After Lu Ming activated the mysterious ice rod with all his strength, the power that erupted was about the same as that of the 8-winged angel. Damn it, both of them have broken through. What a terrifying battle strength. In the surroundings, there were some angels who hadn't interacted with Lu Ming and the others before. At this moment they were deeply shocked. His cultivation was only at the 2nd layer of the godly emperor realm. Even if he had a great killing weapon, he wouldn't be so ridiculously strong. Not only these angels but in other directions the people of other races were also alarmed. Their gazes were looking over. This guy has broken through again. There was a trace of shock in the eyes of the battle god Yuanwen. He had broken through to the godly emperor realm at the same time as Lu Ming, but he had the support of countless resources of the battle saint tribe. Now he was still a step away from breaking through to the 2nd layer of the godly emperor realm. But Lu Ming had broken through before him. Interesting, really interesting. I won't fall behind. The battle god Yuanwen grinned, his eyes filled with a strong fighting spirit. As for the others, they were only shocked. That's Mu Yun? What a powerful strength. What level of divine weapon is that in his hand? These people were discussing spiritedly. At this moment, Lu Ming launched another attack. The mysterious ice rod's aura was like a rainbow as it smashed down once again. The 8-winged angel of the angel clan brandished his sword to meet the enemy. However, at this moment the other angels were in an awkward situation. They originally wanted to attack Ling Yue, but when they saw Ling Yue's arrow pointing at them, they were shocked and retreated one after another. Ling Yue's arrow was too powerful, it was almost a sure kill. No one had the confidence to block it, and no one had the confidence to not die after blocking it. Therefore, when Ling Yue's arrow was aimed at someone, that person would retreat in shock. For a moment, no angel dared to attack Ling Yue. In the end, Ling Yue's arrow was aimed at the 8-winged angel who was fighting with Lu Ming. The 8-winged angel was also shocked. He had just faced Ling Yue's arrows head-on, and their power was astonishing. He could only barely block them. At this time he was fighting with all his might with Lu Ming. If Ling Yue were to attack him, he had no confidence in being able to block it. Therefore for a moment all the hair on his body stood up, and a chill rose from the bottom of his heart. After exchanging a move with Lu Ming, he quickly retreated, distancing himself from Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. Ling Yuwei and Lu Ming gathered together and looked coldly at these angels, not chasing after them. The two of them relied on their weapons to have such battle prowess, but they couldn't last for long. Although the two of them joined forces and attacked with all their strength, they were confident in being able to hold back the strongest angels present. But they would also face the awkward situation of exhausting their strength. Right now there were many experts around. If he ran out of energy it would be very dangerous. Therefore the two of them did not pursue him. As for the angels, they did not dare to make a move. Their faces were all red as they glared at Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei, filled with killing intent. This time they had lost a lot of face. So many people had attacked Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei, but in the end, they were so embarrassed that they did not dare to make a move. They hated Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei so much that their teeth itched, but there was nothing they could do. Haha, powerful, powerful. Brother Mu, it's only been a few days since we last met, but you're getting more and more powerful. A loud laugh broke the deadlock. It was the battle god Yuanwen who walked over with the people of the Battle Saint tribe. Brother battle god. Lu Ming cupped his fists. If you angels don't dare to make a move, then retreat a little further. A bunch of trash. The battle god Yuanwen glanced at the angels in disdain. Battle god Yuanwen, what do you mean by this? The angels were furious as they glared at the battle god Yuanwen. However, as one of the top 10 races, the battle god Yuanwen was not afraid of the angels. He said disdainfully, "What? If you want to make a move, come on. Do you think we don't dare? We'll destroy you guys first." The angels were enraged as their bodies glowed with holy light. However, the people of the Battle Saint tribe were not afraid of them at all. They all revealed powerful battle intent as they took out their divine weapons, looking like they were ready to fight at any moment. A great battle between the two top 10 races was about to break out. Amitba. Everyone please calm down. Our common target now is the demons. A living being whose body was shining with golden light stepped out. This was a true Buddha. His head was glowing with Buddhist light, and his aura was unfathomable. That's right, now is not the time for internal strife. A living being wrapped in a black robe walked out. His figure was like an illusion as he kept twisting and turning. Everyone recognized him. He was a powerful genius of the soul race, one of the top 10 races. Following that, the geniuses of the other top 10 races all tried to persuade him. With so many people persuading him, the angels finally snorted and found a way out. They retracted their auras and did not make a move. In fact, even if they made a move, they were not confident of defeating the Battle Saint tribe. Brother Mu, Elf Princess, the two of you are very powerful. Why don't you join us to deal with the demons together? Battle God Yuanwen looked at Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei. Of course. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei both nodded. Previously, they wanted to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight while reaping the benefits. But now that they were discovered, it was obvious that they could not be the fishermen anymore. However, the two of them had no intention of leaving. So, joining these people and working together was the best plan. Alright, with the two of you joining us, our confidence will be greater. Battle God Yuanwen laughed. The angels snorted with displeasure. The storm calmed down. Not long after, the area around the Xinxia Peak was completely cleared out. Those who had been hiding in the dark and the demons had joined the army. They had either joined forces or left the place, staying far, far away. Then everyone looked at the Divine Dawn Peak from afar and waited. They did not wait for too long. 2 days later. Swish. In the distance, a blood-red light rushed over at an astonishing speed. Everyone only saw a blood-red light flash in the distance. In the next moment, a young man covered in blood appeared not far away. It's blood-robed Song Ming. Someone exclaimed. Many people's hearts skipped a beat and their pupils constricted. Because blood-robed Song Ming was very famous. Could be said that his name shook the universe. Because he was one of the candidates of the universe prodigy list like Yin Jiuling, but his cultivation was much stronger than Yin Jiuling's. Blood-robed Song Ming's cultivation had reached the 7th level godly emperor realm. With his powerful combat strength, ordinary 9th level godly emperors were like ants in his hands. Chapter 40:17. Blood-robed Song Ming looked very young. His face was slightly pale. He was very handsome, a kind of cold and gloomy handsome. He was covered in a thick blood-red light as if he had been born from blood. Without a doubt, he was a peerless genius of the blood clan. If it weren't for his low cultivation level, he would have been ranked on the universe's young geniuses list. Is the evil demon spirit blood on the godly dawn peak? Blood-robed Song Ming stood in the air looking down at everyone. No one felt that there was anything wrong with that. Even though there were people with higher cultivation levels than blood-robed Song Ming, they were much weaker than him in terms of battle strength and potential. It's all on the godly dawn peak, but there are many evil demons hiding there. There are more than 200 evil demons of the 9th godly emperor layer, said a genius of the Blood Clan. 9th godly emperor layer? Hee. Blood-robed Song Ming chuckled, looking indifferent. Then he looked at the godly dawn peak and stepped into the air, flying towards it. In a few steps he was near the godly dawn peak. Blood-robed Song Ming is going to attack. Quick, let's attack too. Let's attack together and help him. Many people shouted and flew towards the godly dawn peak. Some people said that they were going to help blood-robed Song Ming, but they were actually afraid that blood-robed Song Ming would monopolize the evil demon spirit blood. Blood-robed Song Ming smiled coldly, but he didn't care. He continued to step forward, his body filled with blood-red light. Die. At that moment, a fierce battle cry came from the godly dawn peak. An army of evil demons rushed out. This army of evil demons was made up of more than 200 evil demons of the 9th godly emperor layer, thousands of evil demons of the 8th godly emperor layer, and thousands of evil demons of the 7th godly emperor layer. Whoosh, whoosh. Streaks of demonic chi condensed into an attack that surged towards the blood-clothed Song Ming like raging waves. Even blood-robed Song Ming had to stop in the face of such an attack. He looked grave. Whoosh. In the next instant, blood-robed Song Ming's body suddenly collapsed, turning into countless blood-red shadows. These blood-red shadows kept flickering, dodging all the evil demons' attacks. Die. At that moment, all the strong cultivators of evil demons. The two sides fought fiercely. The shadow formed by the blood-clothed dark sea quickly retracted and rushed into the evil demon army in a flash. Kill. Kill. Two demons of the 9th godly emperor layer raised their demon blades and attacked blood-robed Song Ming. Die. At some point in time, a blood saber had appeared in Song Ming's hand. The crimson blade was thin and long, yet incomparably sharp. Furthermore, it was emitting a dense smell of blood. Two blood-red sword lights flashed, and the two demons of the 9th godly emperor layer broke apart. They were frozen in the air, motionless. They looked terrified. The two demons of the 9th godly emperor layer shriveled up and turned into mummified corpses. The blood-red glow on the blood-red blade in Song Ming's hand became even more intense. The taste of evil demon blood is really bad, but the energy is rich. Let's kill a few more. Blood-robed Song Ming chuckled as he stepped forward and slashed out with his blood saber. Blood-red light flashed and another demon of the 9th godly emperor layer was killed. His blood-red clothes were taken away and he turned into a mummified corpse. None of the demons of the 9th godly emperor layer could compete with blood-robed Song Ming. Blood-red clothed Song Ming killed 20 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer and 50 demons of the 8th godly emperor layer in a short time. They were all killed in seconds. How strong! The geniuses in the surroundings were astonished. Was that the strength of a candidate for the Universe Young Geniuses list? He only had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer, but he could kill cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer as easily as cutting vegetables. That kind of visual impact was too strong. The demons were terrified. When they saw blood-robed Song Ming, they were terrified. When they saw blood-robed Song Ming attacking them, they all retreated. The evil demon army's formation was messy. Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei were in the crowd, fighting against the demons. They were also paying attention to blood-robed Song Ming. Very strong. Lu Ming's expression was grave. Blood-robed Song Ming's strength was shocking. With his current cultivation, even if he used the mysterious ice rod's full power, he definitely wouldn't be a match for blood-robed Song Ming. Moreover, how could a genius like blood-robed Song Ming not have a powerful killing weapon? He just hadn't used it yet. At the top of Xinsha Peak, Somoros was also watching the battle outside. Prince, a terrifying monster from the primitive universe has arrived. What should we do now? A demon minister reported to Somoros. Somoros smiled coldly. His gaze moved to blood-robed Song Ming, then to Lu Ming, Ling Yuwei, battle god Yuanwen, and the others. He was filled with cold killing intent. The big fish has taken the bait. Those who should be here are all here. Now send out the order. Everyone, attack and set up the 10,000 demons slaughtering god array. Somoros coldly gave the order. Yes. The demon minister accepted the order and looked excited. Was it finally going to start? Once the 10,000 demons slaughtering god array was out, let's see how arrogant those creatures from the primitive universe would be. Swoosh. Samoros stood up and rose up in the air. He was floating in the air above Xinxia Peak, releasing a terrifying chi. Die. Within the Xinxia Peak, another earth-shattering battle cry erupted. Then, another demon army charged out. The number of demons in that army was astonishing. There were around 200 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. There were more demons of the 8th and 7th godly emperor layer than before. The demons from before retreated hastily and joined the others behind them, forming a gigantic deployment spell. Around 400 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer and thousands of demons of the 8th and 7th godly emperor layer gathered together. Their chi intertwined. With Samoros at the center, they formed a huge battle. Die! Shouted Samoros furiously. He opened his arms and demon chi dashed to the sky, turning into countless demon blades. Samoros was at the center of the deployment spell. The deployment spell revolved according to his will. He shoved his hands forward, and countless fiend sabers flew out toward the living beings of the Urwild's universe. Each of the devil's blades exuded a towering demonic aura. Its power was extremely terrifying. Among them, half of the demon blades turned into a river of blades that shot toward the scarlet-clothed dark abyss. Blood-robed Songming looked grave. This river of blades gathered the attacks of more than half of the demons present. Its power was too terrifying. If he was hit by it, he would definitely die. It's not that easy to deal with me. Blood-robed Songming smiled coldly. A moment later, a pair of wings appeared on his back. Chapter 40:18. A pair of wings stretched out from Songming's back. This pair of wings was made of flesh and had no feathers. It looked like a bat's wings. It was golden red in color and had a luxurious aura. A terrifying aura was emitted from the wings. This was Songming's trump card, his ultimate weapon. Whoosh! With a flap of the wings, Songming flew out. The wings were like two heavenly blades as they slashed out, cutting two terrifying cracks in space. Boom! Boom! The two saber lights formed by the wings collided with the river of sabers of the fiend array. A violent explosion rang out in the sky. The entire sky and earth shook. In the end, Songming actually managed to block the river of sabers. However, the others didn't have the strength to do so. The remaining half of the fiend sabers attacked the creatures of the desolate universe. These creatures of the desolate universe had varying levels of strength. Not everyone could block them. Miserable cries rang out. Some of the weaker ones had their bodies pierced by the fiend sabers or were split in half. Their souls were destroyed and they died on the spot. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of creatures of the desolate universe were killed. Lu Ming drew out a large amount of strong wind from the Zephyr Pearl, protecting him and Ling Yue. The fiend's sabers were successfully blocked by the strong wind. As for the others, some were blocked and some were injured. In the end, they managed to withstand this wave of attacks. Especially Songming. After blocking the river of sabers, he flapped his wings and turned into a shocking bloody light as he charged towards the fiend array. What 10,000 fiend god slaughtering array? It's only a so-so. Blood-clothed Songming's cold and arrogant voice resounded. The pair of golden red wings on his back grew larger and larger, almost covering half the sky. His terrifying aura continued to rise. Before he even made a move, the void was already trembling from the pressure and numerous cracks appeared. Whoosh! Songming then flapped his wings and turned into a bloody light as he charged towards the fiend array. Go! Inside the 10,000 fiend god slaughtering array, Samoros sneered. He pointed with his finger and another river of sabers flew out. This time it was even stronger than before. The river of blades collided with the blood-clothed dark sea once again. It could be seen that the two sides were evenly matched at the beginning. However, in the next instant, the blood-clothed dark sea that had transformed into a blood-red light violently trembled. In the end, he revealed his true form with a grave expression. He clasped his wings together in front of him, blocking the river of blades. However, his body kept retreating. At the same time, Lu Ming and the rest were also attacked by countless devil sabers. Just like before, there were still people being killed. And races. For example, the angels formed the angel battle formation. The auras of the angels intertwined, forming a gigantic angel figure that easily blocked the demon blades. For example, the Buddha race formed a Vajra demon subduing formation, conjuring up a gigantic Buddha shadow that blocked the demon's saber. Almost every race had their own array. The array appeared one after another. This way, the situation on the primitive universe's side was slightly better. However, some of them were alone, which was troublesome. For example, Lu Ming and Ling Yue came alone. They were not with their race and could not set up an array. They could only rely on themselves. Lu Ming was still fine. He kept drawing out the power in the Gale Pearl and could still block it. Some people did not have such a good ending. Those with high cultivation were fine, but those with low cultivation were directly killed by the Fiend Sabers. When this wave of attacks ended, hundreds of people from the primitive universe were killed. All of you charge with me. Let's destroy the enemy's array in one go. As long as the enemy's array is broken, they will be a bunch of chickens and dogs. They won't be able to withstand a single blow. Blood-clothed Dark Sea swept his gaze around and spoke. The power of the enemy's 10,000 fiend god slaughtering array was beyond his expectations. Even if he used all his power, it was still very difficult. However, now that the races had formed an array, their combat power was very strong. If they worked together, they might be able to break the enemy's array. Alright, let's attack together. Charge over and destroy these demons. The various races formed an array and moved closer to Tsangming. They planned to cooperate with him to launch a counterattack and destroy the enemy's array. You have some strength. Such a big fish is worth killing. Samorosa's face was filled with excitement. Just now he was only testing the waters. Now he realized that Tsangming's strength could be called a big fish. He was sure that there were not many such monstrous geniuses in the primitive universe. Then he glanced at Lu Ming and Ling Yue. These two are also monsters. After I deal with this, I'll deal with you too. Samoros revealed a strong killing intent. Then, with a wave of his hand, the 10,000 fiend god slaughtering array shook. Endless demonic aura gathered and formed a huge demonic saber. Previously, the 10,000 fiend god slaughtering array had condensed countless demonic sabers. Now, it was as if countless demonic sabers had gathered together to form a towering demonic saber. The demonic saber was incomparably huge and emitted a terrifying aura as it slashed towards Tsangming. Fast, extremely fast. It was so fast that the scarlet-clad azure sea god could not dodge in time. Not good. Tsangming's pupils contracted rapidly as he felt a terrifying sense of danger. At the critical moment, he could only use his golden red wings to block in front of him. Boom. The huge demonic saber slashed at the golden red wings, causing them to shake violently. The golden red wings were Tsangming's killing weapon. It was a top-grade divine weapon that was made of extraordinary materials and was indestructible. The huge demonic saber couldn't cut through the golden red wings, but the terrifying power on the demonic saber could pass through the demonic saber and rush into Tsangming's body. Ah! Tsangming let out a mournful cry as his body constantly emitted explosive sounds. That was the sound of bones breaking. Streams of blood constantly burst out from his body and dissipated into nothingness. Tsangming's body quickly thinned. Finally, with a bang, he exploded and turned into a golden bat. His aura was extremely weak. The golden bat was covered by a pair of golden red wings. It panicked and fled into the distance. Its speed was extremely fast, and in a few flashes, it disappeared from the place. He didn't die. Samorosa's face was a little gloomy. However, he had just unleashed a powerful attack. If he wanted to unleash another attack like that, he would need to take some time. Therefore, with a wave of his hand, only a few demonic sabers flew out and chased after Tsangming. Chapter 40:19. Several demonic blades chased after blood-robed Tsangming. After a few explosions, there was no sound. No one knew what was going on. As for Samoras, he used all his strength to activate the 10,000 demonic god slaughtering array for the next attack. When the sky prides of the primitive universe saw that blood-robed Tsangming was severely injured and on the verge of death, their expressions changed drastically. If blood-robed Tsangming could not block it, they would not be able to block it even if they set up a battle array. Go, go! Retreat first. Roars could be heard as the sky prides of the various races turned around and left. However, they were all from large races. Although they did not want to continue fighting, their formation was not messed up. They maintained their formation and turned around to escape. The various races were scattered in order to prevent being wiped out by the demonic army in one fell swoop. Since you're here, don't think you can leave. 10,000 demonic god slaughtering array change. Samoras's voice could be heard. Before he could finish his words, endless demonic aura rushed out from the surroundings of the Divine Dawn Peak. Following this, eerie pitch-black runes appeared and formed a huge formation. It turned out that the demonic army had set up a huge array around the Divine Dawn Peak. It was just that they had not activated it before. The runes were everywhere on the ground and in the void. The demons of the 10,000 demonic god slaughtering array also spread out and seemed to have merged into the runes. Brr, brr. In the next moment, roars could be heard as huge figures appeared in all directions. These were all demonic figures. However, these figures were too huge. Each of them was millions of feet tall and towered into the sky. A total of 12 huge demons surrounded all the living beings in the primitive universe. All the living beings in the primitive universe's expressions changed. Obviously, the other party did not want to let them go and wanted to keep them all here. Gather together. Someone shouted. All the people in the primitive universe gathered together again. They also formed battle arrays and formed huge figures. For example, the angel figure formed by the angel battle array and the Buddha figure formed by the Vajra demon subduing array. However, they were not as huge as the demonic figures. Kill. The 12 huge demonic figures charged toward the living beings in the primitive universe. Kill. The living beings in the primitive universe naturally would not sit still and wait for death. They also activated the power of their battle arrays to fight against the huge demonic figures. Boom boom. It seemed like so many magnificent giants were fighting against each other in this world. It also looked like the stone spirits were fighting against each other. It gave people the illusion that they had returned to the incipient god era. After several exchanges, the battle formations of some of the weaker races were also weak. Some of the battle formations were directly destroyed. Some of the people in the battle formations were directly killed, while others were heavily injured. They were like headless eagles flying around in disarray. At this moment, Lu Ming and Yi Zichen were also facing a huge crisis. This was because after Samoras had beaten Songming to a pulp, he had finally turned his attention to Lu Ming and Songming. A gigantic evil demon figure wielding a gigantic evil demon saber charged towards Lu Ming and his companion. Whoosh! The devil's blade slashed through the void, cutting across the firmament. It carried an incomparably terrifying force as it slashed towards Lu Ming and Yi Shiwen. Lu Ming used the strong wind to wrap around Ling Yuwei, and the two of them continuously flashed, wanting to avoid the attack of the demonic blade. In the end, they dodged it, but the aftershock caused their blood to churn, and blood flowed from the corners of their mouths. This was a battle formation formed by many evil demon experts. The evil demon's strength was far beyond the 9th layer of the God Emperor realm. It wasn't something they could resist. Even if they used their trump cards and used all their strength to resist, they definitely wouldn't be able to block it. Humph, wanna leave? Die. Samoras snorted coldly, controlling the gigantic evil demon figure. The evil demon saber in the gigantic evil demon figure's hand disappeared. Then 2 gigantic palms smashed down towards Lu Ming and Yi Shiwen. The gigantic palms enveloped an area, forming a powerful pressure that pressed down on the two of them. The two of them felt that there was a berserk force in all directions, and even the void had solidified. They couldn't dodge even if they wanted to. Facing this attack, they could only face it head-on. Fight! Ling Yuwei shouted. She used all her strength to activate the blood-stained Elven King Bao. A towering tree appeared behind her, and rich divine power poured into the Elven King Bao. She used all of her strength and shot out the most powerful arrow she had ever shot. Swoosh! An arrow pierced through the void, shooting out a pitch-black passage, as if splitting the universe into 2 halves. Boom! The arrow struck a palm, causing an earth-shattering boom to erupt. Unfortunately, the difference in strength between the two was too great. At the moment of collision, the arrow directly exploded and scattered, not piercing through the evil demon's palm. However, it was still useful. It slowed down the speed of the evil demon's palm, and at the same time, its power was also weakened. At the same time, Lu Ming also made his move. First, he frantically drew out a gale from the gale pearl. The violent gale rushed out as if it didn't cost money, forming 2 gigantic tornadoes that swept towards the 2 evil demons' palms. As for Lu Ming, he held the Ice Shen Rod in his hand and poured all the forbidden power in his body into the Ice Shen Rod. The Ice Shen Rod turned into the size of a mountain and blasted out. The 2 tornadoes were the first to meet the 2 palms. The tornadoes, which were comparable to the 9th layer of the Divine Emperor realm, couldn't withstand a single blow from the 2 evil demons' palms. The evil demon's palms didn't stop and continued to press down. In the end, it collided with Lu Ming's Ice Shen Rod. Buzz! At the moment of collision, the Ice Shen Rod shook crazily, and a violent force rushed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming felt as if he had been hit by a mother planet. His body emitted crackling sounds and the sound of bones breaking. At this moment, Lu Ming felt that at least 100 bones in his body had been broken. His muscles had been torn apart, and his internal organs had been shattered by the violent force. Then with a bang, half of Lu Ming's body exploded. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere. His body fell to the ground like a meteorite. With a boom, a deep pit was created in the ground by Lu Ming, which was hundreds of miles deep. Mu Yun. Ling Yui's face was pale. She cried out in alarm and rushed to the ground. She flew into the deep pit and landed beside Lu Ming. Then she found that Lu Ming was lying there, motionless, and his aura was extremely weak. Her heart trembled and tears flowed down her face. "Silly girl, I'm fine. I'm just pretending." Suddenly Lu Ming's voice sounded in her ears. She looked over and saw Lu Ming winking at him. "You." Ling Yue revealed a look of pleasant surprise, but she immediately shut her mouth. She knew what Lu Ming was planning. Lu Ming had deliberately pretended to be dead, and then sat on the mountain to watch the tigers fight. In fact, Samoro had indeed thought that Lu Ming had been killed by this move. Chapter 40-20. Not only Samoros but the others also thought that Lu Ming had been killed by this move. That was the 10,000 demons god slaughtering great formation, composed of many strong demons. Ordinary cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer couldn't compete with it. One attack could kill many cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. No one thought that Lu Ming would be able to survive. Even at the beginning, Ling Yue was shocked, thinking that Lu Ming had fallen. Unfortunately, they didn't know how strong Lu Ming's life force was. As long as his cells survived, Lu Ming would not die. Therefore, although the attack just now was incomparably tyrannical and powerful, it did not annihilate all of Lu Ming's cells. As long as all of Lu Ming's cells were not annihilated, Lu Ming would not die. Therefore, although Lu Ming's injuries were heavy, he did not die. Lu Ming could use this opportunity to make Samoros and the others think that he was dead, so that he could take advantage of the situation. Sure enough, Samoros sneered, "This is the only outcome for those who oppose me." After that, he did not continue to attack Lu Ming, nor did he attack Ling Yue. His main target was Lu Ming. He would first kill Lu Ming, and as for Ling Yue, he would deal with her later. The 12 gigantic demon figures began to concentrate on dealing with the battle formation formed by the various geniuses of the great desolate universe. The two sides fought intensely, and the battle was exceptionally tragic. After exchanging a few blows, the battle formation formed by the weaker races was destroyed, and the geniuses of this race were slaughtered. "Alright, it's finally done." At this moment, Dandan's voice sounded in Lu Ming's ears. Lu Ming's mind shook, and he also sent a sound transmission. "Dandan, where are you hiding?" "Of course I'm hiding underground," Dandan replied. "Underground? The demons didn't set up defenses underground?" Lu Ming asked. Logically speaking, the demons would definitely set up defenses underground. Defenses would be set up underground, on the ground, and in the air. Because once one reached this level of cultivation, their divine abilities would be vast, and they would be able to move freely underground and on the ground. This was especially true for races like the Earth Traveler race. Demons would never make such a low-level mistake. If there were no defenses underground, the Earthen Travelers would have stolen the demon's spirit blood long ago. Of course there's a defense. The demons have laid down layers upon layers of formations underground. There are a total of 108 layers. But can these formations stop me? He asked with a faint smugness. Lu Ming nodded. An ordinary array formation would not be able to stop Dandan. Then what method do you have to obtain the evil demon spirit blood? Lu Ming asked. I've already set up a formation around this area, and I've already seen through the demon's myriad demon god slaughtering formation. Soon, the various races of the primitive universe will definitely fight with their lives on the line. When the battle reaches its climax, the myriad demon god slaughtering formation will show a flaw. That will be the time for us to strike. At that time I will break their formation. The two of you will work together to break the core of their formation. It's that guy who attacked you before, Dandan said. Alright, no problem. Lu Ming nodded and then told Ling Yue about the plan. After discussing it, Lu Ming and Ling Yue began to recover with all their might. Lu Ming's injuries were healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Soon, his originally tattered body had already healed and no wounds could be seen. The forbidden area in his body was also quickly recovering. Ling Yue was also trying her best to recover the divine power she had just consumed. The geniuses of the various races of the primitive universe fought with the demons for another 10 minutes or so. The primitive universe was already at a complete disadvantage and from time to time someone would be killed. Up until now, other than the great formation set up by the geniuses of the top 10 races, which was still intact, the battle formation set up by the other races were already in danger. We can't go on like this. We'll all be exhausted here. We should charge out. That's right. Let's gather all our strength and use all our trump cards. We'll attack a demon figure and charge out at all costs. It's settled then. The various races secretly discussed and planned to fight to the death. Go. All the races in the primitive universe gathered together and suddenly launched an attack in the southeast direction. All the attacks were aimed at the demon in that direction. They used their trump cards. Those who had great killing weapons used their great killing weapons to increase the power of the array formation. Those who didn't have any great killing weapons took out the divine weapons they usually used, sacrificed them and self-detonated them. Some people even burned their divine power at all costs. With everyone fighting with their lives on the line, the explosive offensive power was shockingly strong. The terrifying attack was like a vast tide, hitting the giant demonic shadow in the southeast. Boom! The demonic shadow shook violently, and many of the abyss devils that formed the array formation coughed up blood. Some demons who had the strength of the seventh godly emperor layer were struck by the strength and exploded. They died instantly. For a moment, the demon was in imminent danger. However, in order to focus on attacking the demonic shadow, the elites of the various races in the primitive universe naturally lowered their defensive power. The other 11 demonic shadows took the opportunity to attack. Miserable shrieks rose and fell. In just a short while, the arrays of more than 10 races were destroyed and many people inside died. Even the battle formations of the top 10 races trembled and almost collapsed. In an instant, at least a few hundred people died. It was a disastrous loss and many of them were top geniuses. Continue attacking. Success or failure depends on this. Otherwise, all of us will die. Everyone in the primitive universe knew that if they couldn't break out, they would all die. Only by breaking out would they have a chance to survive. Everyone's strength was at its peak, and their divine power was burning fiercely. They didn't care about the consequences and the price they had to pay. Boom. Finally, the abyss devil in the southeast exploded and scattered, turning into numerous abyss devils. This time, at least 1,000 demons were killed. After all, this was the joint attack of everyone in the primitive universe, and it was also the strongest attack. Its power wasn't something that a single demonic shadow could block. However, the primitive universe had also paid a heavy price for this. This was because the attacks of the other 11 gigantic demonic figures had arrived. On the primitive universe's side, not to mention the other races, even the arrays of the top 10 races were difficult to maintain and were destroyed. A large number of people were killed, including those from the top 10 races. For example, at least 30 angels from the angel race screamed and were reduced to ashes. At least 20 people from the Buddhist race died. The Battle Saint tribe, the Blood race and the Soul race were the same. Every race suffered heavy losses. However, the remaining people were still very excited because the 10,000 demons God-slaughtering array of the demons was broken. Break out. Kill. The remaining people of the primitive universe rushed forward crazily. Chapter 40:21. The huge demon figure in the southeast was defeated. A large number of demons had fallen, and the remaining demons were like headless flies flying everywhere. This way, it was impossible to stop the people from the Great Desolate Universe. The people from the Great Desolate Universe were all fighting with their lives on the line. Their attacks were like a storm. After a wave of attacks, a large number of demons were killed, including the 9th level demons. However, at this time, no one had the time to care about the demon spirit blood. As soon as the people from the Great Desolate Universe rushed out of the encirclement, they fled into the distance. Damn it, chase after them. Somoros roared, his eyes cold. Immediately, at least half of the demon army chased after the people from the various races of the Great Desolate Universe. This way, the 10,000 demon god slaughtering array only existed in name. Haha, so many people actually left. The heavens are helping me. Lu Ming attacked. Dandan laughed proudly. In his excitement, he directly said Lu Ming's real name. That's right, he had already recognized Lu Ming. Lu Ming was speechless. Fortunately, Dandan was using a sound transmission, so Ling Yue didn't hear it. Otherwise it would be troublesome. As soon as Dandan finished speaking, dense runes suddenly appeared on the ground and in the air. These runes were actually set up by the demons. The demons at the scene cooperated with these runes to form the complete 10,000 demon god slaughtering array. Attack. Lu Ming bellowed and dashed out with Ling Yue. Attack 800 meters to the left, 600 meters to the top. Dandan's voice continued to ring out, directly pointing out 36 places. Lu Ming and Ling Yue didn't hesitate and directly attacked. Lu Ming used the Great Divine Wind technique and drew out a large amount of strong wind from the Zephyr Pearl. They turned into wind blades and attacked the places Dandan had mentioned. As for Ling Yue, she also took out the Elf King bow that was stained with blood and shot out an arrow. The arrow light continued to split into more than 10 arrows that shot towards more than 10 places. The places Dandan mentioned were all the nodes of the runes, which were also the flaws. Boom. Boom. When Lu Ming and Ling Yue's attacks landed on these nodes, an earth-shattering boom erupted. Then the entire formation formed by runes began to shake violently. Following that, it exploded with a loud bang. When the formation exploded, the 10,000 demon god slaughtering formation could no longer be stabilized and collapsed. Many of the abyssals in the array immediately suffered a backlash from the array. That's right, backlash. They fused with the formation and cooperated with each other to form the 10,000 demons god slaughtering formation. Once the formation was broken, they would suffer a backlash from the formation. That backlash was extremely serious. Some of the weaker demons were instantly killed by the backlash. Only those who had the strength of the 8th godly emperor layer could resist it. Samoros, who was at the core of the formation, also trembled violently. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned pale. "Damn it, Mu Yun!" Samoros let out an earth-shattering roar. Lu Ming was actually not dead. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Previously, Lu Ming was actually able to survive after being hit by a huge demonic shadow of the 10,000 demons god slaughtering formation. This was completely out of his expectations. Unexpected, right? The unexpected is yet to come. I'll send you on your way. Go. Lu Ming shouted loudly. His figure soared into the sky and rushed towards the top of the Divine Dawn Peak. At the same time, the mysterious ice rod emitted an astonishing aura and rapidly grew in size as it smashed towards Samoros. However, Ling Yuwei's attack was faster than Lu Ming's. Archery, a single attack, was definitely the strongest. There was no other way. It surpassed the sword Dao. Its speed was also the fastest. The arrow pierced through the void and shot towards Samoros. Samoros roared and defended with all his might. However, at this moment, because the formation had been broken, he had just suffered a backlash. Even if he used all his strength, it would be difficult for him to block Ling Yuwei's arrow attack. Boom. His attack was directly pierced through by the arrow. His body was pierced through by the arrow. Samoros spat out large mouthfuls of blood. His face was pale. He had been severely injured and his aura was extremely weak. At this moment, Lu Ming's mysterious ice rod had already arrived. The mysterious ice rod, which was as big as a mountain, carried an incomparably terrifying aura as it pressed down on Samoros. No. Samoros shouted in horror and used all his strength to resist. At the same time, the surrounding demons were also shocked. However, they wanted to save him, but it was too late. Boom. In the end, the mysterious ice rod bombarded Samoros. Samoros screamed in agony as his body directly exploded. Among them, a soul rushed out. It was Samoros's soul. He wanted to escape, but was hit by the aftershock of the mysterious ice rod and died on the spot. Lu Ming rushed over and took Samoros's evil demon spirit blood in his hand. Then, without stopping, he landed on the Divine Dawn Peak. At the top of the Divine Dawn Peak there was an altar. On the altar there was a crystal coffin. Inside was all the evil demon spirit blood. Around the altar there were 6 strong demons protecting it. Those 6 demons were all cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer. Actually, 6 cultivators of the 9th godly emperor layer protecting the crystal coffin weren't very strong. The main reason was that Samoros had been too self-confident. He hadn't thought that anyone would be able to break through to the Divine Dawn Peak. "Prince, that little boy killed Prince. Kill him." The 6 demons of the 6th godly emperor layer shouted furiously and threw themselves at Lu Ming. Lu Ming shook his mysterious ice rod and swept it out. A terrifying chi rolled out in all directions. The 6 demons had the strength of the 6th godly emperor layer. An ice armor appeared on their bodies and covered them quickly. Then the mysterious ice rod moved towards them. Boom, 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 boom. 6 explosions sounded. The 6 demons of the 6th godly emperor layer were blown away. Their faces were deathly pale and blood was flowing out of their mouths. Lu Ming waved his hand and the taboo power wrapped around the crystal coffin like a ribbon. With a pull, the crystal coffin shrank rapidly and Lu Ming kept it in his storage ring. He had obtained the evil demon spirit blood. Shit. Prince was killed. Kill them. Avenge Prince. Kill them. Crush their bones and scatter their ashes. All the demons came back to their senses. Even though the 10,000 demons god-slaughtering great formation had been destroyed, there were still around 200 demons of the 9th godly emperor layer. Those demons shouted furiously and charged towards Lu Ming and the others. With so many demons joining hands, even if Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei were strong, they would still be crushed. However, at that moment, numerous talismans appeared in the sky. It was a gigantic deployment spell. Dandan had cast it. Dandan had disappeared in order to cast a few deployment spells. As soon as those talismans appeared, they crawled all over Lu Ming and Ling Yuwei's bodies. A moment later, Lu Ming and Ling Yue disappeared. One attack after another bombarded the place where Lu Ming and Ling Yue were, causing the space to explode. However, they lost track of Lu Ming and Ling Yue. The demons looked at each other in dismay.